More Americans turn to NBC News than any other news organization.
One-carat lab bands $5.99, one-carat solitaires $6.90. Thousands of diamonds guaranteed the lowest price. Custom mountings $3.99. Buy direct. The Jewelry Exchange, Tustin.
It's your moment. The views, the people. That's a recipe for a loving moment. Right now, it's the only moment. The seafood, the wine, the steak and lobster. Cielo at Morongo Casino Resort and Spa. Good times.
The Barnes firm has years of experience handling thousands of car crash cases. We will give you the support you need and help to get the best result possible.
Barnes firm. Injury attorneys, call 1-800-8-million.
Today in LA with Belinda Leon weather, weekday mornings.
Wall Street bracing for a Monday market meltdown. Dow futures already over 1,000 points in the red as President Trump's tariffs wreak havoc on global trade. We have team coverage on the growing threat of a recession and why the president is comparing it to taking medicine. Israeli Prime Minister Netanyahu goes to Washington weeks after ending the Gaza ceasefire. We're live with what's at stake in his meeting today with Mr. Trump. Tragedy in Texas, where a second child has died in the widening measles outbreak. Health Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. now touting the benefits of the vaccine, but is it too little, too late? Severe flooding sweep the south. The rain is moving out, but swollen rivers continue to rise. Meteorologist Michelle Grossman is tracking the threat. A storybook ending for Paige Bueckers and the Yukon women. Highlights from the Huskies' huge championship win and a preview of the Houston and Florida showdown tonight to cap off March Madness. And Minecraft strikes gold at the box office. The record-breaking weekend for the hit video game adaptation as we kick off this Monday, April 7th. Early today starts right now. Good morning, I'm Frances Rivera. It is shaping up to be another brutal day on Wall Street. Dow futures are down more than 1,000 points, and overseas Asian markets opened sharply lower, with China stocks leading the sell-off, stoked by fears of an intensifying trade war. Goldman Sachs has raised the odds of a U.S. recession over the next 12 months to 45%. Stocks began tumbling after President Trump revealed his newest tariffs. The Dow ended the week with the biggest drop since the early days of the pandemic. NBC's Alice Spar joins me now from D.C. Good morning, Alice. So what response have we seen from the White House?
Good morning, Francis. Last night, President Trump flew back to Washington from Florida. He briefly spoke to reporters on Air Force One. The president continued to defend the tariffs, insisting that they're making the country stronger. He compared the market sell-off to taking a dose of medicine.
I don't want anything to go down, but sometimes you have to take medicine to fix something. I spoke to a lot of leaders, European, Asian, from all over the world. They're dying to make a deal. But I said, we're not going to have deficits with your country. We're not going to do that, because to me, a deficit is a loss.
White House advisors say more than 50 countries have reached out for talks about the tariffs. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent emphasized long-term benefits on NBC's Meet the Press.
Of Americans who want to retire right now, the Americans who have put away for years in their savings accounts, I think the don't look at the day-to-day fluctuations of what's happening. If you look day-to-day, week-to-week, it's very risky. Over the long term, it's a good investment.
Meanwhile, Democratic Senator Adam Schiff slammed President Trump for going golfing after the markets plunged.
Unfortunately, he's wrecking our economy. I think people have seen their retirement savings on fire, and there he is out on the golf course. That may end up being the most enduring image of the Trump presidency.
The White House faced coast-to-coast opposition this weekend. Activists organized more than 1,200 protests, accusing President Trump and Elon Musk of creating an unnecessary crisis. Musk seems to be distancing himself from the new tariffs, saying he would like to see zero tariffs between the U.S. and Europe. On Saturday, the U.S. began collecting a 10% baseline tariff. Higher rates on some countries go into effect on Wednesday, and that includes a 20% tariff on the European Union. Francis.
It's going to be a rocky next few days. Okay, Ellis, thanks. President Trump's tariffs triggering a stock market meltdown here at home and abroad. Dow futures are down about 1,000 points, pointing to another sell-off at the open after falling 5% on Friday alone. For the latest, let's get to CNBC's Karen Gilchrist, who's monitoring it all for us. Good morning, Karen.
Francis, hey, yes, more turmoil expected for markets today after last week's dramatic sell-off. U.S. stock futures seen lower overnight Monday, with the Dow seen down around 2.7%, the S&P down 3.4%, and the Nasdaq 4.3% lower. This after the Dow posted back-to-back losses of 1,500 points for the first time ever. The S&P slipped 10% over 2 days, and the Nasdaq has fallen into bear market territory. This wiping trillions of dollars off equity markets, and those losses seen extending into Asian trading on Monday, led by losses for Hong Kong's Hang Seng Index, which shed 12% to record its worst day since the 2008 financial crisis. Now, this after China retaliated to Trump's tariffs on Friday, imposing its own 34% import levies. And these losses again seen in other markets, such as Japan's Nikkei being down 8%, South Korea's Kospi down 5.5%. And here in Europe, the losses continue, with the benchmark Stock 600 also falling 6% at the open. So we're certainly setting up for another volatile day of trade as we look into Monday. Francis?
Yeah, managing our expectations and anxiety, too. Karen, thank you. The Trump administration is facing a midnight deadline set by a federal judge to return a U.S. permanent resident wrongly sent to El Salvador. Kilmar Abrego Garcia was deported to a mega prison in El Salvador without a court hearing. The court called his detention, quote, wholly lawless. The Trump administration has admitted it was an administrative error. Garcia's lawyer says he expects the government to act.
I have to assume that if there's an enforceable order of the court that's not stayed by a higher court, that the government is going to follow that order. They sent Abrego Garcia down to El Salvador. They need to ask for him back.
However, no one in the American or Salvadorian governments has said whether Garcia's repatriation is underway. The administration has maintained that he is affiliated with the MS-13 gang, but a DOJ lawyer acknowledged in court an absence of evidence. President Trump is set to host Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu today to discuss the war in Gaza and tariffs. The meeting will make Netanyahu the first foreign leader to travel to Washington in hopes of negotiating a better tariff deal. It comes as the Israeli army has admitted its soldiers made mistakes in the killing of 15 emergency workers in Gaza. After cell phone footage refuted claims the convoy approached without headlights or flashing lights. NBC's Matt Bodner joins us now. Matt, good morning.
Francis, good morning. Netanyahu continues to demonstrate that perhaps of all global leaders, he holds pride of place in the world of Donald Trump. You may recall he was the very first foreign leader to visit Trump after inauguration, and now he's first up to try to dodge tariffs. Israel was hit with a 17% tariff under Trump's trade calculus. The United States is not only its most important military ally, but also its single largest trading partner. Netanyahu said in a statement on Sunday that he hopes to address this issue with Trump personally, leaning in on what he called, quote, their special personal link, as well as special ties between the two countries. Israel already enjoyed a long-standing free trade agreement with the United States. It was signed some 40 years ago. Under this agreement, 98% of U.S. goods exported to Israel were tax-free. Israel last week canceled what few tariffs it did have. This was not enough to avoid Trump's tariffs, with the United States still insisting it had a significant trade deficit with Israel. Of course, Netanyahu's visit also follows Israel's resumption of military operations in the Gaza Strip, and already the Israeli Defense Forces are being scrutinized for their conduct in the field. Last month, IDF soldiers fired on medical and aid workers in southern Gaza, killing 15 of them. Israel initially said those vehicles approached an IDF position without headlights or emergency signals. However, video has since emerged showing the vehicles were clearly marked and in fact had emergency lights on when they came under fire. Israel has since changed its tune in light of this video, saying now that its soldiers made a mistake. Francis?
Okay, Matt, thank you. Health Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. is in Texas overseeing the response to a measles outbreak in the west of the state. In a post on X, Kennedy paid tribute to an 8-year-old girl who died, now the second child to die in the outbreak. And while Kennedy also appeared to endorse disputed measles treatments, he is now recommending vaccines. The secretary backtracking on previous anti-vaccine remarks, saying, quote, the most effective way to prevent the spread of measles is the MMR vaccine. The Texas outbreak is nearing 500 cases, largely in unvaccinated populations. Deadly storms pummeling the South and Midwest, already wary after days of severe weather. At least 21 people have been killed and some 30 others were hurt across 6 states since the onslaught began last week. States of emergency declared across the South as torrential rains triggered historic flooding.
We've never dealt with anything like this.
Really?
Yeah, no, nothing like this as far as the amount of water we have.
In Arkansas, heavy wind and rain taking down trees, some slamming into homes. Several schools are closed there today due to the damage. And the National Guard delivering portable water in Malvern after a lightning strike caused a catastrophic failure to the town's water system. Tornadoes reported in multiple states, with one confirmed in Mississippi, tearing through homes and leaving debris in its wake. This severe system now marching towards the southeast. NBC meteorologist Michelle Grossman has details on the latest threat. Good morning, Michelle.
Good morning, Francis. Yeah, still tracking this long-stretching cold front. It's bringing some rain to the mid-Atlantic, the Northeast, all the way down to the Southeast. We're seeing storms along the Gulf Coast states into the Southeast. That will be the story throughout this afternoon and evening, too. And then notice on the northern fringe of this front, we're looking at some cold air in place. That's bringing some snow to the Great Lakes, the interior parts of the Northeast. You see a little pink and purple, too. That's where that wintry mix is. So in April, we are seeing some accumulating snow over the next couple of days through portions of the Great Lakes, also northern New England. But it's all about the warm air in the southeast. That's going to spark the chance for severe storms. We could see winds gusting up to 60 miles per hour, a tornado or two, heavy rain and also some hail. And notice that heavy rain falling where you see where you see the yellows and also the reds and oranges. That's where we're expecting the heaviest amounts of rain, and the most amount of snow will be in parts of northern New England. That's a look at the big weather story of the day. Here's a closer look at your day ahead. All right, grab the umbrellas as you head out in the mid-Atlantic, the Northeast. We're looking at some showers through Philadelphia, D.C., down to parts of Virginia and the Carolinas. And we are looking at stormy conditions throughout this Monday in the Southeast, Charlotte, Atlanta, Mobile, looking at some storms. All right, that's your Monday forecast.
Okay, Michelle, thanks so much. Up next, March Madness is coming to a close. Highlights from the women's final ahead of tonight's men's matchup. And later, the record-breaking hit at the box office.
Air Wick's vibrant fragrances are infused with 2 times more essential oils. The advanced plug-in with a boost button and anti-fade technology can keep your home always inviting for up to 60 days. That's a lot of inviting. Air Wick, always fragrant, always inviting.
Bucky Barnes blocks a news van flipping wildly. The crew inside are splattered with food.
Not again.
Be cool to have a metal arm, though.
Sorry, what do we do about this?
We use Tide Oxy Boost. It's a lifesaver.
The most powerful clean in any universe.
See? Looking good.
See Marvel Studios Thunderbolts.
Incoming dishes! Doc! Dawn Power Wash flies through 99% of grease and grime in half the time.
Yeah, it absorbs grease 5 times faster. Even replaces multiple cleaning products.
Ooh, those suds got game.
Dawn Power Wash, the better grease getter.
We are back with history in the ice for an NHL superstar.
Here is Ovechkin, shoots, he scores! He scores! Number 895! The chasing days are done! Alex Ovechkin is the greatest goal scorer in the history of the NHL!
Alex Ovechkin shattering one of the biggest records in sports and cementing his place in hockey history. The most career goals scored in the league, breaking the record set decades ago by the great one, Wayne Gretzky.
I can tell you firsthand, I know how hard it is to get to 894. 895 is pretty special.
Himself was there to pass the torch and congratulate Ovechkin. And March Madness wraps up tonight with the men's national championship game. You've got that showdown between the top-ranked Florida Gators and Houston Cougars that tips off at 8:50. Sam Brock has a preview, plus the highlights from UConn women's huge championship victory over South Carolina.
And there's the buzzer. For the most storied program in women's college basketball, finally a storybook ending for star Paige Beckers.
Here it takes a village just to do what we do here, and everybody's important to the team's success.
Beckers backdoor, pops it in. But the senior guard and presumptive #1 pick in the WNBA draft had a lot of help.
Strong, oh, what a finish!
With fellow senior AZ Fudd lifting the team for long stretches.
I've never been happier than I've been the last couple of months coaching a team.
And for South Carolina coach Dawn Staley, it's a reverse of the 2022 finals when the Gamecocks knocked out the Huskies. The men's Final Four is a day away in San Antonio.
Houston has gone cold. They've missed 7 of their last 8. Crowder puts an end to the...
After the Houston Cougars completed a stunning comeback against Duke.
No one ever loses at anything as long as you don't quit.
With 2 minutes left, it was still a 7-point Blue Devil lead after an Emmanuel Sharp bucket.
Sharp, the jumper, he's got it!
Duke's probability of winning was 94.6% at that point in time. How did you see it on the floor?
You know, there was, as long as there's time on the clock, you know, it's not over till it's over.
Coach Kelvin Sampson using a bullhorn in 2016 to persuade fans to come to the games.
Our first home basketball game tomorrow night at 7 o'clock.
Now he's rebuilt the Cougars culture.
If you think you're playing hard, you're probably not playing as hard as you think he is. He wants you to play at an extreme level that you're like, bro.
On Monday, they'll be in a fierce fight with the Florida Gators, with hoops history on the line.
And talking about Coach Sampson, right now he is sitting on 799 career wins over the course of a 4-decade career, but no title. That could change on Monday. If the Cougars win, he becomes the oldest D1 men's basketball coach with a ring in history. Sam Brock, NBC News.
Still to come, Pope Francis surprises pilgrims in St. Peter's Square, plus the building blocks to a breakout hit, the record-breaking debut for the Minecraft movie.
Like a relentless weed, moderate to severe ulcerative colitis symptoms can keep coming back. Break away to what's possible with Tremfya, with rapid relief at 4 weeks. Many people experienced remission at 1 and even 2 years. Some saw 100% visible healing of their intestinal lining. Serious allergic reactions and increased risk of infections and liver problems may occur. Before treatment, your doctor should check you for infections and TB. Tell your doctor if you have an infection, flu-like symptoms, or if you need a vaccine. Healing is possible with Tremfya. Tremfya is now approved for Crohn's disease. Ask your doctor about Tremfya.
What's on your mind, Dion?
A sensitive skin. Now how Old Spice Total Body isn't on it.
Gabby, is there anything you want to share?
Not this Old Spice deodorant. It's 24/7 freshness. It can go everywhere. His crotch.
Where?
Men have sensitive skin too.
Other sausage brands use non-meat filler. That's just non-good. Keep it real, people, and keep it juicy.
Boogie woogie jam slam, bust the dialect. I'm the man in command. Come flow with the sounds of the mighty.
Herbal Essences is a force of nature, made with supercharged botanical blends. Our sulfate-free formulas deeply penetrate to boost hair health without the Salon Naturals price tag. Herbal Essences.
Always dry scoop before you run. Listen to me. A hot dog diet got me shredded.
It's time we listen to science. One A Day is formulated with key nutrients to support whole body health. One A Day, science that matters.
New Swiffer Mop Deluxe is made for small spaces. The upgraded strip has 75% more scrubbing power. And with the new locking head, getting into tight spaces is simple.
Can I borrow it?
The all-new Swiffer Mop Deluxe, the mother of all cleans.
Star.
Hey.
Yeah, some things are just better at home. With Empire's Home Floor Advantage, you can compare samples in your own space. Plus, we'll be here to help you with every step of the process.
Call or visit EmpireToday.com and get the Home Floor Advantage.
It really is better at home.
Empire Today.
I was injured in a car crash. I had no idea how much my case was worth. I called the Barnes firm.
When a truck hit my son, I had so many questions about his case. I called the Barnes firm. It was the best call I could have made.
Your case is often worth more than insurance offers. Call the Barnes firm to find out what your case could be worth. We will help you get the best result possible.
The Barnes firm. Injury attorneys. Call 1-800-8-million.
If we want to save this world, creativity is key to survival.
Now what? Elytra wingsuits. Bye-bye.
Those things work, right? Absolutely.
A Minecraft movie proved to be a blockbuster after earning a record-breaking $157 million at the box office for its opening weekend. The film, starring Jack Black and Jason Momoa, earned $144 million overseas for a global start of $301 million. Jason Statham's action thriller, A Working Man, took second place, earning $27.8 million, while The Chosen: Last Supper came in third, earning $6.7 million. Some sad news in the entertainment world. The original Dennis the Menace has died.
Why, that's Mr. Wilson's yard. You know you can't dig up Mr. Wilson's yard. Wonder who could have drawn such a map.
Some dirty old pirate, I guess, and it slipped out of his pocket right on our front porch.
In the early 60s, Jay North played the mischievous but well-meaning young boy who made life difficult for his neighbor, Mr. Wilson. After the sitcom ended, North abandoned acting and eventually became a prison guard. His representative confirms his death in an email. North was 73. When we come back, Pope Francis makes his first public appearance visit at the Vatican since his hospital stay. And he's just King James. LeBron gets a Ken doll makeover.
Struggling with moderate to severe Crohn's disease or ulcerative colitis? Talk to your doctor about #1 prescribed Entyvio, offering 2 maintenance options, including the Entyvio pen. Infusion and serious allergic reactions can happen during or after treatment. Entyvio may increase risk of infection, which can be serious. PML, a rare, potentially fatal brain infection, cannot be ruled out. Tell your doctor if you have an infection, flu-like symptoms, sores, or are prone to infections. Liver problems can occur. Entyvio, relief, remission for real.
Entyvio, Entyvio, Entyvio.
Rinse it out.
Every now and then I get a little bit tired of the stinks that just will never come out.
Downy Rinse and Refresh. Fights odor in just one wash. Guaranteed.
A mom smells a clean shirt and smiles.
Pain means pause on the things you love, but green means go. Among neck pain sufferers, BioFreeze gel was found to be 2 times more effective than ice. So you can keep on going. BioFreeze. Green means go.
Logo, brand power.
Do you own a dishwasher but only use it for storage or as a drying rack? Get better results than hand washing with your dishwasher and Cascade Complete. Your dishwasher does the work for you with temperatures up to 140 degrees, too hot for hands. Some dishwashers even have a sanitizing cycle. Load pots, pans, and tableware at the bottom with plastic and glassware on top. Cascade Complete removes visible and invisible residue for virtually spot-free and shiny dishes. Switch to your dishwasher and Cascade Complete.
If you have heart failure or chronic kidney disease, Farxiga can help you keep living life, because there are places you'd like to be. Serious side effects include increased ketones in blood or urine and bacterial infection between the anus and genitals, both which may be fatal. Severe allergic reactions, dehydration, urinary tract or genital yeast infections, and low blood sugar. Stop taking and tell your doctor right away if you have nausea, vomiting, stomach pain, tiredness, rash, swelling, trouble breathing or swallowing. Tell your doctor about lightheadedness, weakness, fever, pain, tenderness, redness or swelling between the anus and genitals. Ask your doctor about Farxiga today.
Farxiga. Welcome to the 100-degree sweat test. Which one of these 2 antiperspirants can stand up to the heat?
Models Boxing.
Looks like ordinary antiperspirants can't take the heat. Ordinary antiperspirants can't fight sweat better than Secret Clinical. Try new Secret Clinical Strength Spray.
Other sausage brands use non-meat filler. That's just non-good. Keep it real, people, and keep it juicy.
Boogie woogie jam slam, bust the dialect, I'm the man in command, come, flow with the sounds of the mighty.
Always dry scoop before you run.
Listen to me, a hot dog diet got me shredded.
It's time we listen to science. One a day is formulated with key nutrients to support whole body health. One a day, science that matters.
Here's what's making headlines this morning. Pope Francis made his first public appearance since being discharged from the hospital 2 weeks ago. The 88-year-old arrived at St. Peter's Square in a wheelchair and oxygen as he made his way through a Jubilee Mass for the sick. Over 1 million pilgrims have made their way to a hilltop town in Italy to pay homage to the Catholic Church's newest saint. 15-year-old Carlo Acutis, a first millennial saint, and his canonization will take place on April 27th. The Los Angeles Dodgers are headed to the White House today to celebrate their 2024 World Series championship. Shortstop Mookie Betts confirms he will be there after skipping the White House visit during Trump's first term when he won a World Series with the Boston Red Sox. LeBron James is getting his own signature Barbie doll after being named as a Kenbassador. The doll retails for $75 and will be released on April 23rd.
At the gym.
Hey, sweaty. Sweetie, you good?
Someone stole my Old Spice antiperspirant.
She has it.
Now I'm smelling like perspirant.
I did. Force 24/7 sweat protection.
You did this to my bitch.
Men have sweat too. Old Spice.
Pain means pause on the things you love, but green means go. Among neck pain sufferers, BioFreeze gel was found to be 2 times more effective than ice. So you can keep on going. BioFreeze. Green means go.
Jen loved her Gain flings. Then Brad showed up with Gain rinse and beads. When they mixed their scents, they discovered they were scent mates. Smells like it's gonna last. Mix, match, more happy with Gain.
From Israel, from Tampa, from Los Angeles, the front lines of a fire. From Reagan National Airport, where flights resumed. Why is it so difficult to take? They've been making water drops throughout the night.
We are back with the major life-changing moments for medical students across the U.S. as they prepare to start their careers. Here's Jose Diaz-Balart.
These are the moments our nation's future doctors have been waiting for. When medical school students across the country find out if they can take their critical next step.
Congratulations, you have a badge.
The key to their dream of becoming a doctor. Known as Match Day, this is when they find out if and where they matched into a residency program before they start the next chapter of their lives. Alex saw hopes to become an eye specialist for astronauts. And now,
USC, let's go!
He's matched at the University of Southern California. The anticipation was too much for Marija Shahid. With her parents and fiancé by her side, finally relief. Marija got into her top program for anesthesiology at Harvard.
I just couldn't believe it. It really felt like I had come such a long way with my family, from being a first-generation immigrant, first medical student of my family, to now being a physician.
Match Day was a family affair for Joseph Holland.
3, 2, 1.
I'm going to Harvard! His loved ones overjoyed when he matched with Harvard for dermatology.
This moment, it is certainly a prayer that has been answered by my ancestors, by my family. I really like to bring my family to the forefront, and my tribe. I say tribe because it includes my friends, my mentors, my colleagues, because without them, I certainly wouldn't be the product that you see today.
3, 2, 1.
Those are new moms, Megan Holt and Madison Melquist, two best friends matching at the same hospital near Tampa.
Women can do both, and if you want a career, you can go for it, and if you want a family, you can go for that too.
A proud moment for these moms and soon-to-be doctors who get to build their next chapter together.
Well, can't you feel that happiness for them, right? It is so infectious. There's life-changing moments that down the road will be life-saving for so many of us. Our thanks to Jose Diaz-Balart for sharing the great stories, all those great stories to start off on Monday. And thanks to you for starting your week with Early Today. I'm Frances Rivera. Have a great one. See you back here tomorrow.
With its clean simplicity and purposeful functionality. As part of the Essentials line, which introduces a new trend for each season, this collection highlights warm wood tones and boucle upholstered details that lend character and texture, as well as thoughtful storage features to keep your space organized, delivering the perfect harmony between beauty and utility. Each piece adds a special touch to any home. Discover the Draper Collection exclusively at Living Spaces.
Living Spaces.
Save up to 80% at the Jewelry Exchange. Quarter carat studs $69, Huggies $149, tennis bracelets $5.99 per carat. 2 carat 3-stone rings or studs $19.90. Guaranteed to appraise for double factory direct. The Jewelry Exchange, Tustin.
So which would you recommend?
Me?
Yeah, some things are just better at home. With Empire's Home Floor Advantage, you can compare samples in your own space.
Call or visit EmpireToday.com and get the home floor advantage.
Empire Today.
Wall Street bracing for another potential day in the red as the shock of President Trump's tariffs continues to roil markets and relations with our allies. But the president and his administration are standing by his actions. We've got team coverage on their defense and what it means for the price you pay. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu set to meet with President Trump in the White House today to discuss tariffs and the war in Gaza. This as the Palestinian Red Crescent demands an investigation in a video showing Israeli forces opening fire on emergency workers. We're live with the fallout. In Texas, a second child has died from measles. This case is near 500 in the state. What Health Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. is saying as he visits the epicenter of the outbreak. A deep dive into the Antarctic and how rapidly melting polar ice is affecting everything from weather patterns to fisheries here at home. And history on the ice as Alexander Ovechkin breaks a record once thought unbreakable. It's Monday, April 7th. Early Today starts right now. Good morning, glad you're with me. I'm Frances Rivera. All signs are pointing to another dark day for Wall Street. Asian markets opened with a sharp drop, and Dow futures have fallen more than 1,000 points. More brutal reaction to President Trump's newest tariffs. Overnight on Air Force One, the president continued to defend his strategy, saying other world leaders have been reaching out to make deals.
I spoke to a lot of leaders, European, Asian, from all over the world. They're dying to make a deal. But I said, we're not going to have deficits with your country. We're not going to do that because to me a deficit is a loss.
Now investors are bracing for what could be another big drop when trading opens. NBC's Brian Chung kicks off our coverage.
Only hours before the markets open in the U.S., already early signs Wall Street will start the week in the red. The start of pre-market trading suggesting last week's stock slide may still be in the early innings. A baseline 10% tariff kicked in and will rise even further for dozens of countries under President Trump's so-called reciprocal tariffs set to take effect Wednesday. The president addressing the economic turmoil for the first time in days, as Americans are closely watching their portfolios and price tags to gauge the impact of the tariffs on their wallets.
I don't want anything to go down, but sometimes you have to take medicine to fix something.
There doesn't have to be a recession. Who knows how the market is going to react in a day, in a week.
Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent on Meet the Press with Kristen Walker.
What is your message to Americans who want to retire right now and who've just seen their lifetime savings drop significantly?
Well, Kristen, I think that's a false narrative. Americans who want to retire right now, the Americans who have put away for years in their savings accounts, I think the don't look at the day-to-day fluctuations of what's happening.
Last week's spill on Wall Street erased nearly $6 trillion from the market. Trump advisor Elon Musk now calling on the president to undo some tariffs.
I hope it is agreed that both Europe and the United States should move, ideally, in my view, to a zero tariff situation.
As countries like China and Canada promise retaliation, some in the administration say the tariffs are here to stay.
There's no postponing. They are definitely going to stay in place for days and weeks.
Our thanks to Brian for that report. With some tariffs already in effect and more coming Wednesday, shopping habits are already shifting. Camilla Bernal has more on how consumers are responding.
This is your cartridge. Sinks, faucets, and shower heads. Home basics that could soon be a lot more expensive.
Has it been busy?
The ripple effects of President Donald Trump's sweeping tariffs concerning for shoppers like Brent Myers, who is remodeling his Los Angeles home.
It's the house, it's the car, it's all sorts of worries.
Russ Diamond, president of home store Snyder Diamond, says some of his vendors are already raising their prices.
I got a notice last night from one of our vendors in the UK apologizing for the short notice, but their price is going up Monday. We would have to most likely pass that on to our consumer.
The fear of price increases also causing an uptick in customers, many of their purchases coming from overseas.
Even though they're recognizable names of U.S. companies, a lot of times they're made in Mexico.
This manufacturer from the UK, and this one here is from France. This Canadian one saying they're already planning a 15% price increase. And it's not just appliances. The cost of toys, phones, cars, all expected to spike.
Especially with a growing family, it's just really tough to kind of predict how to allocate your money when you're just trying to save all of it.
But some say the sacrifice is worth it.
I'm worried that things are going up, and I know my investments have tanked because of the retaliation. But I think Donald Trump is doing the right thing. We have to have manufacturing jobs in our country.
Everyone hoping the economic pain is temporary. Camila Bernal, NBC News, Los Angeles.
The Trump administration is facing a midnight deadline set by a federal judge to return a U.S. permanent resident wrongly sent to El Salvador. Kilmar Abrego Garcia was deported to a mega prison in El Salvador without a court hearing. The court called his detention, quote, wholly lawless. The Trump administration has admitted it was an administrative error. Garcia's lawyer says he expects the government to act.
I have to assume that if there's an enforceable order of the court that's not stayed by a higher court, that the government is going to follow that order. They sent Abrego Garcia down to El Salvador. They need to ask for him back.
However, no one in the American or Salvadorian governments have said whether Garcia's repatriation is underway. The administration has maintained that he is affiliated with the MS-13 gang, but a DOJ lawyer acknowledged in court an absence of evidence. President Donald Trump is set to host Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu today in a last-minute meeting. Discussions are expected to include Iran and the war in Gaza and tariffs. The meeting will make Netanyahu the first foreign leader to travel to Washington in hopes of negotiating a better tariff deal. It comes as the Israeli army has admitted its soldiers made mistakes in the killing of 15 emergency workers in Gaza. After cell phone footage refuted claims the convoy approached without headlights or flashing lights. NBC's Matt Bodner joins us now. Good morning, Matt.
Francis, good morning. Netanyahu continues to demonstrate that perhaps of all global leaders, he holds pride of place in the world of Donald Trump. You may recall he was the very first foreign leader to visit Trump after inauguration, and now he's first up to try to dodge tariffs. Israel was hit with a 17% tariff under Trump's trade calculus. The United States is not only its most important military ally, but also its single largest trading partner. Netanyahu said in a statement Sunday that he hopes to address this issue with Trump personally, leaning in on what he called, quote, their special personal link, as well as the special ties between the two countries. Israel already enjoyed a long-standing free trade agreement with the United States that was signed some 40 years ago. Under this agreement, 98% of U.S. goods exported to Israel were tax-free. Israel last week canceled what few tariffs it did have. This was not enough to avoid Trump's tariffs, with the United States still insisting it had a significant trade deficit with Israel. Of course, Netanyahu's visit also follows Israel's resumption of military operations in the Gaza Strip. Already, the Israeli Defense Forces are being scrutinized for their conduct in the field. Last month, IDF soldiers fired on medical and aid workers in southern Gaza, killing 15 of them. Israel initially said their vehicles approached an IDF position without headlights or emergency signals. However, video has since emerged showing that the vehicles were clearly marked and in fact had emergency lights on when they came under fire. Israel has changed its tune in light of this video, saying now that its soldiers made a mistake. Francis?
Matt Bodner for us. Matt, thank you. Health Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. is in Texas after a second child dies from the measles outbreak in the west of the state. In a post on X, Kennedy said he met with the families of the two children who died, as well as the parents of a 2-year-old just released from the ICU. And while he appeared to tout unproven and controversial treatments, he is now saying vaccines are the best way to prevent measles. Here's Erica Edwards.
In Gaines County, Texas, an 8-year-old girl laid to rest after she contracted measles. State health officials attributing her death to pulmonary failure from the virus. In a statement saying the child was not vaccinated and had no reported underlying conditions. Nearly 500 measles cases have been reported in Texas since the outbreak began in late January, with 59 new cases just last week. Health and Human Services Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. writing that the most effective way to prevent the spread of measles is the MMR vaccine. This despite his history of spreading vaccine misinformation. Kennedy says he traveled to Gaines County to console the girl's family, also noting that he's redeployed CDC teams to Texas. Recent massive federal funding cuts to local health departments nationwide already slowing efforts to stop the outbreak, with dozens of measles vaccine clinics in Texas canceled in the last week.
Is the community really prepared for further measles spread?
I think that's an ongoing set of conversations that we all are having. Honestly, I don't see a quick end to it.
The girl's death in Texas is the second of a child in the outbreak, growing at an alarming rate as families search for protection against the highly contagious virus. Erica Edwards, NBC News.
Now to deadly storms pummeling the South and Midwest, already weary after days of severe weather. At least 21 people have been killed and some 30 others were hurt across 6 states since the onslaught began last week. States of emergency declared across the South as torrential rains triggered historic flooding.
We've never dealt with anything like this.
Really?
Yeah, no, nothing like this as far as the amount of water we have.
In Arkansas, heavy wind and rain taking down trees, some slamming into homes. Several schools are closed there today due to the damage. And the National Guard delivering portable water in Malvern after a lightning strike caused a catastrophic failure to the town's water system. Tornadoes reported in multiple states, with one confirmed in Mississippi, tearing through homes and leaving debris in its wake. This severe system now marching toward the southeast. Let's turn to NBC meteorologist Michelle Grossman, who has details on the latest threat. Michelle, good morning.
Good morning, Francis. Yes, we are still tracking this long-stretching cold front now impacting the southeast, as mentioned. And then we're also looking at some snow all the way in parts of New England. So this still remains to be a problem. We're not looking at the catastrophic weather that we saw over the weekend because now this front is on the move, which is good news. But still looking at some stormy weather right now in the southeast. You can see that on radar. And then on the northern edge, we're looking at some cold air. So we're seeing that blue. That is snow falling, and we will see accumulating snow in New England. Storm chances today from Savannah to Tallahassee, north of Gainesville. We're looking at winds gusting up to 60 miles per hour. Could see a tornado or two. Hail is a possibility, as well as that heavy rain. Could see up to 3 inches in some spots, maybe a little bit more where you see the yellow coloring, the red coloring, and orange shading. That's where we could see the heaviest amounts of rain. That's a look at the big weather story of the day. Here's a closer look at your day ahead. All right, we need the umbrellas today in portions of the mid-Atlantic, the Northeast, and temperatures are right around normal in some spots. To the southeast, it is warm in the state of Florida, but notice from Charlotte to Atlanta and Montgomery, we're looking at some rain. All right, that's your Monday forecast.
Okay, thanks so much, Michelle. So to come, UConn and Paige Beckers take it all in the NCAA women's basketball tournament. And hockey has a brand new GOAT. How Wayne Gretzky congratulated Alex Ovechkin for breaking his all-time scoring record.
Airwick's vibrant fragrances.
are infused with 2 times more essential oils. The advanced plug-in with a boost button and anti-fade technology can keep your home always inviting for up to 60 days. That's a lot of inviting. Airwick. Always fragrant, always inviting.
Bucky Barnes blocks a news van flipping wildly. The crew inside are splattered with food.
Not again.
Be cool to have a metal arm, though.
Sorry, what do we do about this?
We use Tide Oxy Boost. It's a lifesaver.
The most powerful clean in any universe.
See? Looking good.
See Marvel Studios Thunderbolts.
Incoming dishes! Doc! Dawn Power Wash flies through 99% of grease and grime in half the time.
Yeah, it absorbs grease 5 times faster. Even replaces multiple cleaning products.
Ooh, those suds got game.
Dawn Power Wash, the better grease getter.
There's the buzzer. It's an even dozen for Gino Auriemma and Connecticut. The final page in the book of Beckers is title number 12 for UConn.
A storybook ending for UConn star Paige Beckers, the senior guard and presumptive #1 pick in the WNBA draft, put up 17 points in the Huskies' rout against South Carolina. UConn cruised to an 82-59 victory, capturing their first national title in nearly a decade. And March Madness wraps up tonight with a men's championship game. The showdown between the top-ranked Florida Gators and Houston Cougars tips off at 8:50 under the bright lights of the Alamo Dome in San Antonio. And at long last, history on the ice for an NHL superstar.
Here is Ovechkin, shoots, he scores! He scores! Number 895! The chasing days are done! Alex Ovechkin is the greatest goal scorer in the history of the NHL!
Alex Ovechkin shattering one of the biggest records in sports and cementing his place in hockey history with the most career goals scored in the league. He breaks the record set decades ago by the great one, Wayne Gretzky.
I can tell you firsthand, I know how hard it is to get to 894. 895 is pretty special.
The legend himself was there to pass the torch and congratulate Ovechkin. The Los Angeles Dodgers are headed to the White House to celebrate their 2024 World Series championship. President Trump will host the team before they take on the Washington Nationals later today. And it appears the entire team will be in attendance. Shortstop Mookie Betts confirms he will be there today after skipping the White House visit during Trump's first term when he won a World Series with the Boston Red Sox. Still to come, who took the top spot at the weekend box office, and remembering TV's original Dennis the Menace. Actor Jay North dies after a battle with cancer.
Like a relentless weed, moderate to severe ulcerative colitis symptoms can keep coming back. Break away to what's possible with Tremfya, with rapid relief at 4 weeks. Many people experienced remission at 1 and even 2 years. Some saw 100% visible healing of their intestinal lining. Serious allergic reactions and increased risk of infections and liver problems may occur. Before treatment, your doctor should check you for infections and TB. Tell your doctor if you have an infection, flu-like symptoms, or if you need a vaccine. Healing is possible with Tremfya. Tremfya is now approved for Crohn's disease. Ask your doctor about Tremfya.
What's on your mind, Dion?
My sensitive skin. Now how Old Spice Total Body isn't on it.
Gabby, is there anything you want to share?
Not this Old Spice deodorant. It's 24/7 freshness. It can go everywhere.
His crotch.
Where?
Men have sensitive skin, too.
Other sausage brands use non-meat filler. That's just non-good. Keep it real, people, and keep it juicy.
Boogie woogie jam slam, bust the dialect, I'm the man in command, come flow with the sounds of the mighty.
Herbal Essences is a force of nature, made with supercharged botanical blends. Our sulfate-free formulas deeply penetrate to boost hair health without the Salon Naturals price tag. Herbal Essences.
Always dry scoop before you run.
Listen to me. A hot dog diet got me shredded. It's time we listen to science. One A Day is formulated with key nutrients to support whole body health. One A Day, science that matters.
New Swiffer Mop Deluxe is made for small spaces.
The upgraded strip has 75% more scrubbing power. And with the new locking head, getting into tight spaces is simple.
Can I borrow it?
The all-new Swiffer Mop Deluxe, the mother of all cleans.
Up to 80,000 pounds, their impact is absolutely devastating. And these cases are complex, involving federal laws and powerful legal teams protecting trucking companies. Who's protecting you? Just recently, Sweet James Accident Attorneys recovered $10 million for a client injured in a trucking accident. Don't let the insurance companies take you for a ride. Call Sweet James for a free consultation. We are your big truck accident attorneys.
This one goes better with the walls.
This is so much easier than the home improvement store.
So which would you recommend?
Do you like brown?
Yeah, some things are just better at home. With Empire's Home Floor Advantage, you can compare samples in your own space. Plus, we'll be here to help you with every step of the process.
Call or visit EmpireToday.com and get the Home Floor Advantage.
It really is better at home.
800-588-2300. Empire Today.
If we want to save this world, creativity is key to survival.
Now what? Elytra wingsuits. Bye-bye.
Those things work, right?
Absolutely.
A Minecraft movie proved to be a blockbuster after earning a record-breaking $157 million at the box office for its opening weekend. The film, starring Jack Black and Jason Momoa, earned $144 million overseas for a global start of $301 million. Jason Statham's action thriller, A Working Man, took second place, earning $27.8 million, while The Chosen: Last Supper came in third, earning $6.7 million. Some sad news in the entertainment world. The original Dennis the Menace has died.
Why, that's Mr. Wilson's yard. You know you can't dig up Mr. Wilson's yard. Wonder who could have drawn such a map.
Some dirty old pirate, I guess, and it slipped out of his pocket right on our front porch.
In the early 60s, Jay North played the mischievous but well-meaning young boy who made life difficult for his neighbor, Mr. Wilson. After the sitcom ended, North abandoned acting and eventually became a prison guard. His representative confirms his death in an email. North was 73. When we come back, why a new pathway to fighting gastrointestinal cancers is facing a major roadblock. And if mint isn't doing it for you when you brush your teeth, how about a little more spice with KFC's new toothpaste?
Struggling with moderate to severe Crohn's disease or ulcerative colitis? Talk to your doctor about #1 prescribed Entyvio, offering 2 maintenance options, including the Entyvio pen. Infusion and serious allergic reactions can happen during or after treatment. Entyvio may increase risk of infection, which can be serious. PML, a rare, potentially fatal brain infection, cannot be ruled out. Tell your doctor if you have an infection, flu-like symptoms, sores, or are prone to infections. Liver problems can occur. Entyvio, relief, remission for real.
Entyvio, Entyvio, Entyvio.
Rinse it out.
Every now and then I get a little bit tired of the stinks that just will never come out.
Downy Rinse and Refresh fights odor in just one wash, guaranteed.
A mom smells a clean shirt and smiles.
Pain means pause on the things you love, but green means go. Among neck pain sufferers, BioFreeze gel was found to be 2 times more effective than ice. So you can keep on going. BioFreeze. Green means go.
Logo, brand power.
Do you own a dishwasher but only use it for storage or as a drying rack? Get better results than hand washing with your dishwasher and Cascade Complete. Your dishwasher does the work for you with temperatures up to 140 degrees, too hot for hands. Some dishwashers even have a sanitizing cycle. Load pots, pans, and tableware at the bottom with plastic and glassware on top. Cascade Complete removes visible and invisible residue for virtually spot-free and shiny dishes. Switch to your dishwasher and Cascade Complete.
If you have heart failure or chronic kidney disease, Farxiga can help you keep living life, because there are places you'd like to be. Serious side effects include increased ketones in blood or urine and bacterial infection between the anus and genitals, both which may be fatal. Severe allergic reactions, dehydration, urinary tract or genital yeast infections, and low blood sugar. Stop taking and tell your doctor right away if you have nausea, vomiting, stomach pain, tiredness, rash, swelling, trouble breathing or swallowing. Tell your doctor about lightheadedness, weakness, fever, pain, tenderness, redness or swelling between the anus and genitals. Ask your doctor about Farxiga today.
Welcome to the 100-degree sweat test. Which one of these two antiperspirants can stand up to the heat?
Models Boxing.
Looks like ordinary antiperspirants can't take the heat. Ordinary antiperspirants can't fight sweat better than Secret Clinical.
Try new Secret Clinical Strength Spray.
Other sausage brands use non-meat filler. That's just non-good. Keep it real, people, and keep it juicy.
Boogie woogie jam slam, bust the dialect. I'm the man in command. Come flow with the sounds of the mighty.
Always dry scoop before you run.
Listen to me. A hot dog diet got me shredded.
It's time we listen to science. One A Day is formulated with key nutrients to support whole body health. One A Day, science that matters.
Here's what's making headlines this morning. NIH researchers have created an immune therapy for gastrointestinal cancers, but layoffs forced by the Trump administration are grinding things to a halt. The study's lead author tells the Washington Post that there could be a month delay for patients. Starting today, Walmart could face a week-long boycott. The People's Union USA, which has organized other economic blackouts, is urging consumers not to shop at the retail giant. And you can now buy fried chicken-flavored toothpaste. KFC teamed up with oral care brand Hi Smile to launch a limited edition toothbrush and toothpaste for a spicy $72.
At the gym.
Hey, Sweaty. Sweetie, you good?
Someone stole my Old Spice antiperspirant.
She has it.
Now I'm smelling like perspirant.
I did. Force 24/7 sweat protection.
You did this to my bits.
Men have sweat too. Old Spice.
Pain means pause on the things you love, but green means go. Among neck pain sufferers, BioFreeze gel was found to be 2 times more effective than ice. So you can keep on going. BioFreeze. Green means go.
Jen loved her Gain flings. Then Brad showed up with Gain rinse and beads. When they mixed their scents, they discovered they were scent mates. Smells like it's gonna last. Mix, match, more happy with Gain.
From Israel, from Tampa, from Los Angeles, the front lines of a fire. From Reagan National Airport, where flights resumed. Why is it so difficult to pick it up? They've been making water drops throughout the night.
We are back with a ripple effect from the bottom of the Earth. New research shows polar ice is melting even faster, fueling a rise in sea levels around the globe. NBC's Chase Kane traveled to Antarctica to learn more.
9,000 miles away, at the bottom of the planet, a trip to Antarctica might feel less like crossing the ocean and more like crossing the galaxy.
It's a kind of a magic place. You know, it grabs you.
James Barnes co-founded the Antarctic and Southern Ocean Coalition in 1978 to help conserve and protect a place that is not just environmentally unique, but politically unique. No country owns it. Instead, it's common ground with a common goal: science.
On a larger scale, too, it's about friendship. The friendship between nations that are not maybe naturally friends. And so what they can cooperate on is science, and the science there is so crucial to our future.
The discovery in Antarctica.
And a lesson from the 1980s proved just how true that is.
It is an unprecedented event.
Only 2 years after Antarctic scientists discovered the hole in the ozone layer, the world banded together to solve the problem. Now, NASA says the ozone hole should fully heal within our lifetime. It is a sign of what's possible, but also a cautionary tale not to ignore what's happening here.
Interacts with climate change, especially the Arctic.
Tourists who make the trip with HX Expeditions see the truth of climate change firsthand.
All the way down, yeah.
Often braving tough conditions to collect samples and data for scientists around the world.
Allowing people to understand the consequences of changes into a system. I mean, everything is connected. Everything needs to be in a balance, right? And
Verena Maraldi created HX's science program 7 years ago. And today it supports scientists from dozens of universities researching things like how krill,
and you see the facets,
a critical food source for Antarctic wildlife, are becoming more scarce. And that is creating having ripple effects for fisheries in the U.S. So basically what happens here impacts everything from our food to flooding along our coasts. In the next 25 years, NOAA projects sea levels will rise up to 8 inches along the west coast and up to 1.5 feet along the Gulf. And a lot of that extra water is flowing to our shores from Antarctica, where as ice melts into the Southern Ocean, it also changes the water temperature, which can change ocean currents. And those drive weather patterns all the way back home. From Antarctica, I'm National Climate Reporter Chase Kane.
Powerful images, certainly a powerful change, too. Thanks for waking up with Early Today on a Monday. I'm Frances Rivera. Hope you have a great one and see you back here early tomorrow morning. For now, your news continues right here on NBC and our NBC stations.
We have fresh new looks that are waiting to make your home look and feel great at the lowest prices. And with all the latest styles in bloom, you'll find savings in every department. Whether it's a clean and modern sectional or a rustic and traditional dining table, we have it in stock with fast and free delivery. Come find the look that's right for you at our spring style event at your furniture superstore, Mathis Home.
Some things are just better at home, like picking out new floors. For a limited time, get up to 40% off your entire project during our spring sales event. Saving on new floors is just better at home. Call or visit EmpireToday.com for your free in-home consultation.
After my car accident, I wondered what my case was worth, so I called the Barnes firm.
I'm Rich Barnes. Is your accident case worth more than insurance offered? Call the Barnes firm now to find out. You might be surprised.
A global market meltdown. President Trump's new tariffs triggering a worldwide sell-off, stock sell-off with Dow futures, pointing to a 1,000-point plunge at the open. We're live in D.C. with a growing fallout. The president also set to meet today with Israel's leader, Benjamin Netanyahu, just weeks after he ended the Gaza ceasefire. What's at stake in today's talks? A showdown of a deportation heats up. The deadline set by a federal judge is just hours away, ordering the Trump administration to bring home a wrongly deported Maryland man. The response from the White House. Catastrophic flooding sweeps the South. Entire towns in Kentucky submerged after a parade of severe weather. Our team is tracking the next big threat for the region. And history on the ice. Alex Ovechkin shoots past a record thought unbreakable. The moment he outscored the great one himself, Wayne Gretzky. As we skate in a Monday, April 7th. Early Today starts right now. Good morning, I'm Frances Rivera. It is shaping up to be another brutal day on Wall Street. Dow futures are down more than 1,000 points. And overseas, Asian markets opened sharply lower, with China stocks leading the sell-off, stoked by fears of an intensifying trade war. Goldman Sachs has raised the odds of a U.S. recession over the next 12 months to 45%. Stocks began tumbling after President Trump revealed his newest tariffs. The Dow ended the week with its biggest drop since the early days of the pandemic. NBC's Alice Barr joins me now from D.C. Alice, good morning. So what response have we seen from the White House?
Good morning, Francis. Well, last night, President Trump flew back to Washington from Florida, and he spoke to reporters briefly aboard Air Force One. He said that he is going to continue to defend this tariff policy, insisting that they are making the country stronger. He compared the market sell-off to taking a dose of medicine.
I don't want anything to go down, but sometimes you have to take medicine to fix something. I spoke to a lot of leaders, European, Asian, from all over the world. They're dying to make a deal. But I said, we're not going to have deficits with your country. We're not going to do that, because to me, a deficit is a loss.
And White House advisors say that more than 50 countries have reached out for talks about the tariffs. And on NBC's Meet the Press, Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent talked about the long-term benefits of the tariff strategy.
Of Americans who want to retire right now, the Americans who have put away for years in their savings accounts, I think the Don't look at the day-to-day fluctuations of what's happening. If you look day-to-day, week to week, it's very risky. Over the long term, it's a good investment.
Meanwhile, Democratic Senator Adam Schiff slammed President Trump for going golfing after the markets fell.
Unfortunately, he's wrecking our economy. I think people have seen their retirement savings on fire, and there he is out on the golf course. That may end up being the most enduring image of the Trump presidency.
The White House faced coast-to-coast opposition this weekend. Activists organized more than 1,200 protests, accusing President Trump and Elon Musk of creating an unnecessary crisis. Musk seems to be distancing himself from the new tariffs, saying he would like to see zero tariffs between the U.S. and Europe. On Saturday, the U.S. began collecting a 10% baseline tariff. Higher rates are expected on dozens of countries going into effect on Wednesday, and that includes a 20% tariff on the European Union. Francis.
Alice, thank you for the breakdown. And the Trump administration is facing a midnight deadline set by a federal judge to return a U.S. permanent resident wrongly sent to El Salvador. Kilmar Abrego Garcia was deported to a mega prison in El Salvador without a court hearing. The court called his detention, quote, wholly lawless. The Trump administration has admitted it was an administrative error. Garcia's lawyer says he expects the government to act.
I have to assume that if there's an enforceable order of the court that's not stayed by a higher court, that the government is going to follow that order. They sent Abrego Garcia down to El Salvador. They need to ask for him back.
However, no one in the American or Salvadorian governments has said whether Garcia's repatriation is underway. The administration has maintained that he is affiliated with the MS-13 gang, but a DOJ lawyer acknowledged in court an absence of evidence. President Donald Trump is set to host Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu today in a last-minute meeting. Discussions are expected to include Iran and the war in Gaza and tariffs. The meeting will make Netanyahu the first foreign leader to travel to Washington in hopes of negotiating a better tariff deal. It comes as the Israeli army has admitted its soldiers made mistakes in the killing of 15 emergency workers in Gaza after cell phone footage refuted claims the convoy approached without headlights or flashing lights. NBC's Matt Bodner joins us now. Good morning, Matt.
Francis, good morning. Netanyahu continues to demonstrate that perhaps of all global leaders, he holds pride of place in the world of Donald Trump. You may recall he was the very first foreign leader to visit Trump after inauguration, and now he's first up to try to dodge tariffs. Israel was hit with a 17% tariff under Trump's trade calculus. The United States is not only its most important military ally, but also its single largest trading partner. Netanyahu said in a statement on Sunday that he hopes to address this issue with Trump personally, leaning in on what he called, quote, their special personal link, as well as the special ties between the two countries. Israel already enjoyed a long-standing free trade agreement with the United States, signed some 40 years ago. Under this agreement, 98% of U.S. goods exported to Israel were tax-free. Israel last week canceled what few tariffs it did have. But that was not enough to avoid Trump's tariffs, with the United States still insisting it had a significant trade deficit with Israel. Of course, Netanyahu's visit also follows Israel's resumption of military operations in the Gaza Strip, and already the Israeli Defense Forces are being scrutinized for their conduct in the field. Last month, IDF soldiers fired on medical and aid workers in southern Gaza, killing 15 of them. Israel initially said that their vehicles approached an IDF position without any headlights or emergency signals. However, video has since emerged, showing the videos were clearly marked and, in fact, had emergency lights on when they came under fire. Israel has since changed its tune in light of this video, saying now that its soldiers made a mistake. Francis?
Matt Bodner for us. Matt, thanks. Health Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. is in Texas overseeing the response to a measles outbreak in the west of the state. In a post on X, Kennedy paid tribute to an 8-year-old girl who died, now the second child to die in the outbreak. And while Kennedy also appeared to endorse disputed measles treatments, he is now recommending vaccines. The secretary backtracking on previous anti-vaccine remarks, saying, quote, the most effective way to prevent the spread of measles is the MMR vaccine. The Texas outbreak is nearing 500 cases, largely in unvaccinated populations. Deadly storms pummeling the South and Midwest, already weary after days of severe weather. At least 21 people have been killed and some 30 others were hurt across 6 states since the onslaught began last week. States of emergency declared across the South as torrential rains triggered historic flooding. In Arkansas, heavy wind and rain taking down trees, some slamming into homes. Several schools are closed there today due to the damage. NBC meteorologist Michelle Grossman has details on the latest threat. Good morning, Michelle.
Good morning, Francis. Yeah, we're looking at this front finally on the move. It will clear the coast later on tonight. But before that, we are looking at some severe weather in the southeast today. In between, we're looking from the mid-Atlantic down to the southeast, some rain. And then on the northern northern part of this front, we are looking at some snow, even a wintry mix in the interior parts of the northeast. So that is the story for today. You see on radar the darker colors. That's where the heaviest rain is falling, even seeing a little lightning, hearing that thunder. And we do have a severe weather risk today in the southeast. Winds gusting up to 60 miles per hour. Could see a tornado or two. Could see some hail. It's low, but not zero. And also the chance of some heavy rain. And then as we look towards the rainfall, it will be heavy in some spots. You see those darker colors. We could see isolated amounts of 3 inches, even higher in some spots. And snow in April. We are looking at accumulating snow in the northern parts of New England. That's a look at the big weather story of the day. Here's a closer look at your day ahead. All right, we are looking at some rain showers in parts of the northeast and mid-Atlantic. Could even see some snow over the next couple of days in northern parts of New England. And then it's going to be a storm chance throughout the southeast. We're looking from places like Atlanta to Charlotte, Montgomery, down to Mobile with storms. All right, that's your Monday forecast.
Okay, thanks so much, Michelle. Pope Francis made his first public appearance yesterday since being discharged from the hospital 2 weeks ago. The 88-year-old arrived at St. Peter's Square at the Vatican in a wheelchair with an oxygen tube as he made his way through a Jubilee Mass for the sick. The Pope's last public appearance was back in March after being treated for pneumonia. The head of his medical team says he will need 2 months of rest once he returns to the Vatican. Coming up, we've got you covered with tips on managing your money if the tariffs and market reaction have you worried. Keep it here as Early Today continues on a Monday.
Airwick's vibrant fragrances are infused with 2 times more essential oils. The advanced plug-in with a boost button and anti-fade technology can keep your home always inviting for up to 60 days. That's a lot of inviting. Airwick. Always fragrant, always inviting.
Bucky Barnes blocks a news van flipping wildly. The crew inside are splattered with food.
Not again.
Be cool to have a metal arm, though.
Sorry, what do we do about this?
We use Tide Oxy Boost. It's a lifesaver.
The most powerful clean in any universe.
See? Looking good.
See Marvel Studios Thunderbolts.
Incoming dishes! Doc! Dawn Power Wash flies through 99% of grease and grime in half the time.
Yeah, it absorbs grease 5 times faster. Even replaces multiple cleaning products.
Ooh, those suds got game.
Dawn Power Wash, the better grease getter.
Welcome back. If you are feeling helpless and nervous after tariffs and the market reaction, you are certainly not alone. But there are ways to manage your finances that could help protect you in an uncertain economy, no matter where you are in life. Our Tom Costello explains.
As the full impact of President Trump's tariffs start to sink in, Americans are anxious.
I'm definitely nervous. I think the cost of everything, living is already high.
I just worry, and I want it all to be over with.
You might have heard this advice: don't look at your 401k.
Take a deep breath and keep it all in perspective.
But it's hard not to, right? 62% of U.S. adults own stocks, according to Gallup. So what are we supposed to do? Well, a lot depends on where you are in your life and what your appetite is for risk. For people in retirement or close to it, that's hard.
I looked at my 401k this morning, for example, and in the last 2 days, that's lost $58,000. That's stressful.
Folks like Victor Fettis, who just retired last week, built up savings for years for this moment and now relies on those investments to just pay the bills.
That's not a maintainable trajectory for me to stay retired.
And it's not just those in or approaching their golden years who need to tap those investments. Maybe you're about to send a kid to college or put a down payment on a house or start a renovation.
There is safety out there
for the time being. You don't need to stay in stocks.
For example, buying treasury bonds can get you between 3 and 4% return every year. Same with CDs or money market accounts. And that can look very attractive when the markets, the stock markets, are so unstable. But selling out of fear could mean you miss a potential bounce back and the returns that come with it. Here's the market crash during the financial crisis that caused the Great Recession. From the high in October of 2007, it took 17 months for the Dow to drop more than 50%. And then it wasn't until March of 2013, years later, that the stock market finally recovered. But sometimes things bounce back much faster, like in the pandemic, when it took only about a month for the market to lose a third of its value, but then only about 9 months to fully recover. Morgan Stanley's wealth management team put out this note, very pessimistic about the potential impact of Trump's tariffs. But even so, saying, quote, we are apt to take more of a wait-and-see approach, avoiding knee-jerk panic, because things can change over the next 90 days. Which is why, if you're in it for the long term, just starting your career or a family, experts say keeping a steady approach to investing is key. Don't let your emotions get the best of you.
Over the past 5 years, the stock market is up over 110%. That is a very large rate of return for the stock market. And if you stayed invested through the pandemic, you've been able to see your investments compound over time in a way we haven't seen in generations.
Keeping in mind it could get worse before it gets better, which has been the messaging from the White House.
We may have short-term a little pain.
For those looking to buy a home, while interest rates are falling, which could help affordability, the economic uncertainty could keep buyers on the sidelines. At the end of the day, it's important that you know what you need to pay your monthly bills, what your risk tolerance is, and your investment time horizon. And consider working with a financial advisor to make sure you're set up for whichever way the economic winds might blow.
Thanks to Tom for that report. Still to come, the new king of the ice in the NHL and finding a method to March Madness. Highlights from UConn's masterclass performance to lift their 12th national championship.
Like a relentless weed, moderate to severe ulcerative colitis symptoms can keep coming back. Break away to what's possible with Tremfya, with rapid relief at 4 weeks. Many people experienced remission at 1 and even 2 years. Some saw 100% visible healing of their intestinal lining. Serious allergic reactions and increased risk of infections and liver problems may occur. Before treatment, your doctor should check you for infections and TB. Tell your doctor if you have an infection, flu-like symptoms, or if you need a vaccine. Healing is possible with Tremfya. Tremfya is now approved for Crohn's disease. Ask your doctor about Tremfya.
What's on your mind, Dion?
My sensitive skin. Now how Old Spice Total Body isn't on it.
Gabby, is there anything you want to share?
Not this Old Spice deodorant. It's 24/7 freshness. It can go everywhere.
His crotch.
Where?
Men have sensitive skin too.
Other sausage brands use non-meat filler. That's just non-good. Keep it real, people, and keep it juicy.
Boogie woogie jam slam, bust the dialect, I'm the man in command, come flow with the sounds of the mighty.
Herbal Essences is a force of nature, made with supercharged botanical blends. Our sulfate-free formulas deeply penetrate to boost hair health without the Salon Naturals price tag. Herbal Essences.
Always dry scoop before you run.
Listen to me. A hot dog diet got me shredded.
It's time we listen to science. One A Day is formulated with key nutrients to support whole body health. One A Day, science that matters.
New Swiffer Mop Deluxe is made for small spaces. The upgraded strip has 75% more scrubbing power. And with the new locking head, getting into tight spaces is simple.
Can I borrow it?
The all-new Swiffer Mop Deluxe, the mother of all cleans.
A hero rises to get justice for the injured.
Sweet James.
If you're hurt in a car, truck, or motorcycle accident, Sweet James will make insurance companies pay.
Are you through? I'm just warming up.
From the firm that's won over $1 billion for their clients comes Sweet Justice with Sweet James.
You pay nothing until we win.
It's your moment. Your game.
your place, your time to play. It's fun, it's exciting, and you're winning and winning and winning. Your moment is now at Morongo Casino Resort and Spa. Morongo, good times, great moments.
There's the buzzer. It's an even dozen for Gino Auriemma and Connecticut.
A storybook ending for UConn star Paige Beckers, the presumptive #1 pick in the WNBA draft, put up 17 points in the Huskies' rout against South Carolina. UConn cruised to an 82-59 victory, capturing their first national title in nearly a decade. Houston and Florida face off in the men's championship tonight at 8:50 Eastern. Alex Ovechkin is skating into the history books, breaking a record set by the great one himself, Wayne Gretzky. Maya Eaglin has the dramatic moment.
Here is Ovechkin.
He's hockey's greatest goal scorer. Alex Ovechkin shattering one of the world's biggest records in sports and cementing his place in hockey history.
The chasing days are done. Alex Ovechkin is the greatest goal scorer in the history of the NHL.
The Washington Capitals start scoring goal number 895, the most career goals from anyone in the league.
Fellas, I love you. We did it, boys. We did it.
The top draft pick in 2004, Ovechkin is a 3-time MVP. He helped the Capitals win their only Stanley Cup back in 2018. At 39 years old, Ovechkin achieved something few thought possible, breaking the NHL's all-time scoring record set decades ago by the great one, Wayne Gretzky.
I can tell you firsthand, I know how hard it is to get to 894. 895 is pretty special.
The legend himself proudly passing the torch.
They say records are made to be broken, but I'm not sure who's going to get more goals than that.
The Russian-born star's big moment celebrated by fans in Moscow and congratulated by Russian officials. Ovechkin filled with gratitude.
All of you fans, for the whole world, Russian, we did it, boys.
The new king of the rink, whose legacy will forever be etched in ice. Maya Eaglin, NBC News.
When we come back, details on the latest retail giant facing a boycott. And if you want your toothpaste to taste finger looking good, KFC has the perfect product.
Struggling with moderate to severe Crohn's disease or ulcerative colitis? Talk to your doctor about #1 prescribed Entyvio, offering 2 maintenance options, including the Entyvio pen. Infusion and serious allergic reactions can happen during or after treatment. Entyvio may increase risk of infection, which can be serious. PML, a rare, potentially fatal brain infection, cannot be ruled out. Tell your doctor if you have an infection, flu-like symptoms, sores, or are prone to infections. Liver problems can occur. Entyvio, relief, remission for real.
Entyvio, Entyvio, Entyvio.
Rinse it out.
Every now and then I get a little bit tired of the stinks that just will never come out.
Downy Rinse and Refresh fights odor in just 1 wash, guaranteed.
A mom smells a clean shirt and smiles.
Pain means pause on the things you love, but green means go. Among neck pain sufferers, BioFreeze gel was found to be 2 times more effective than ice. So you can keep on going. BioFreeze, green means go.
Logo, brand power.
Do you own a dishwasher but only use it for storage or as a drying rack? Get better results than hand washing with your dishwasher and Cascade Complete. Your dishwasher does the work for you with temperatures up to 140 degrees, too hot for hands. Some dishwashers even have a sanitizing cycle. Load pots, pans, and tableware at the bottom with plastic and glassware on top. Cascade Complete removes visible and invisible residue for virtually spot-free and shiny dishes. Switch to your dishwasher and Cascade Complete.
If you have heart failure or chronic kidney disease, Farxiga can help you keep living life, because there are places you'd like to be. Serious side effects include increased ketones in blood or urine and bacterial infection between the anus and genitals, both which may be fatal. Severe allergic reactions, dehydration, urinary tract or genital yeast infections, and low blood sugar. Stop taking and tell your doctor right away if you have nausea, vomiting, stomach pain, tiredness, rash, swelling, trouble breathing or swallowing. Tell your doctor about lightheadedness, weakness, fever, pain, tenderness, redness or swelling between the anus and genitals. Ask your doctor about Farxiga today.
Welcome to the 100-degree sweat test. Which one of these two antiperspirants can stand up to the heat?
Models Boxing.
Looks like ordinary antiperspirants can't take the heat. Ordinary antiperspirants can't fight sweat better than Secret Clinical.
Try new Secret Clinical Strength Spray.
Other sausage brands use non-meat filler. That's just non-good. Keep it real, people, and keep it juicy.
Boogie woogie jam slam, bust the dialect, I'm the man in command, come flow with the sounds of the mighty.
Always dry scoop before you run.
Listen to me, a hot dog diet got me shredded.
It's time we listen to science. One A Day is formulated with key nutrients to support whole body health. One A Day, science that matters.
Here's what's making headlines this morning. NIH researchers have created an immune therapy for gastrointestinal cancers, but layoffs forced by the Trump administration are grinding things to a halt. The study's lead author tells the Washington Post that there could be a month delay for patients with little time to spare to receive the experimental treatment. Starting today, Walmart could face a massive week-long boycott. The People's Union USA, which has recently organized economic blackouts, is urging consumers not to shop at the retail giant or its affiliates like Sam's Club through April 14th. According to a Reuters report, Prada is close to a decision on a potential takeover of its rival Versace. An Italian newspaper reported that a potential deal could be announced Thursday for $1.1 billion. And you can now buy fried chicken-flavored toothpaste. KFC teamed up with oral care brand Hi Smile to launch a limited edition toothbrush and toothpaste for a spicy $72. If that's your thing. We'll be right back.
At the gym.
Hey, sweaty. Sweetie, you good?
Someone stole my Old Spice antiperspirant.
She has it.
Now I'm smelling like perspirant.
I did. Force 24/7 sweat protection.
You did this to my bits.
Men have sweat too. Old Spice.
Pain means pause on the things you love, but green means go. Among neck pain sufferers, BioFreeze gel was found to be 2 times more effective than ice. So you can keep on going. BioFreeze. Green means go.
Jen loved her Gain flings. Then Brad showed up with Gain rinse and beads. When they mixed their scents, they discovered they were scent mates. Smells like it's gonna last. Mix, match, more happy with Gain.
From Israel, from Tampa, from Los Angeles, the front lines of a fire.
From Reagan National Airport, where flights resumed.
Why is it so difficult to pay attention? They've been making water drops throughout the night.
We are back with a story of one family who gave their grandfather a 70th birthday he'll never forget. Here's Hallie Jackson.
This isn't just any birthday party. That's Dave Squilla sitting there, celebrating his 70th with a twist. A blast from his past, featuring his family. All 9 of his grandkids surprising him, dressing up as versions of him over the years. As a little boy, all grown up as Dad, and now their Papa, to the delight of the family and to so many others. Their video getting more than 10 million views online.
Dave, what did it mean for you to have your family come together to do this for you, for your birthday?
It was probably the best thing that I've had happen to me in a while. The kids did a great job.
It meant the world to his wife, Marlene.
I was so happy to see my husband so happy and smiling and giggling. It was very, very touching.
She and their daughter Amy were the brains behind the camera, finding the photos and putting the family to work.
The only thing that we had in the house was the snowmobile suit because he still wears that to snowblow the driveway.
On the big day, a quick change after dinner before the big debut.
It was my life, 9 pieces of my life, and with 9 of my grandchildren. It was going down memory lane.
It's not just Dave's family trying this trend. The Harrises in South Carolina showed out for their grandpa's 80th.
Oh my God.
And the Webb family in Tennessee dressed up as 7 eras of their grandpa.
I love the mustaches.
For so many, including the Squillas, it's all about committing to the bit.
Those socks are beautiful. I made them.
How did you hope to make your grandpa feel in that moment, Noah?
As long as he was happy and laughing, that's all that mattered to me.
And maybe a new birthday tradition filled with love and laughter.
What does that mean to you to know that you may be starting a tradition for other families down the road?
I'm obsessed that people were so intrigued by it and loved it so much. And I really hope that so many more people do it because it was just so fun.
What a way to celebrate these grandparents. What a great idea, and I really hope it still catches on. Our thanks to Hallie for sharing that story. And thanks to you for watching early today on a Monday. I'm Frances Rivera. Have a great start to your week, and we'll see you back here early tomorrow morning.
To 40% off your entire project during our spring sales event. Our experts bring the showroom to you so you can see samples right in your space. That's Empire's home floor advantage. Don't miss your chance to save on select styles fully installed. Call or visit EmpireToday.com for your free in-home consultation.
Empire Today.
It's At Home in the Valley, a warehouse full of rugs. Too many rugs, way too many rugs. It's time for a sale. Save on thousands of rugs in stock. Take one home today. Modern, traditional, shag, solids, and textures, all at low, low prices. Roll runners for stairs and hallways, any length you need. Since 1979, At Home in the Valley, 16531 Satakoy Street, Van Nuys, 818-780-4663. Online at athomeinthevalley.com.
Right at 4 a.m., the world is bracing for more financial and stock turmoil. This week, as President Trump's tariffs take effect, we are watching how money is moving this morning and the weekend protests.
And candles, crosses, and a big loss for people in Santa Ana this morning after an early morning crash has killed 5 people. We are live with what we know about this weekend's collision.
Today in LA at 4 starts now.
Good morning. It's Monday, April 7th. Here is a live look outside at downtown LA. You can see how clear the skies are, how bright the city lights are down there in the skyline of downtown LA. Looking good. We hope you had a wonderful weekend, got plenty of rest. Thanks for joining us early on this Monday morning. I'm Adrian Rampulo.
And I'm Lynette Romero. And especially thank you to David Bigger for joining us really early. Nice to have you here this week, filling in for Blue.
Yeah, good morning to you guys. I did manage to get a little bit of rest last night, which is a nice change from the last time I filled in. Let's talk a little bit about what it's looking like outside right now. This is a live look at Long Beach. We're off to a beautiful start this morning. We don't have any fog or low cloud cover, but I think we might get a patch or two around the basin before we get to about sunrise, but it's not going to last very long today. So right now, 54 degrees is about the same temperature it was at this time yesterday. The winds are calm, and that humidity number has been creeping higher and higher. And as you start to get more into the 90s, that's where we start to get the chance of maybe getting some fog formation around the region. But here's what we're looking at temperature-wise right now. You can see we've got temperatures all running in about the low to mid 50s, 52 in downtown LA, 55 in Van Nuys, a chilly 49 degrees right now around Thousand Oaks, 47 in Oxnard, 52 degrees in Lancaster, 49 in San Bernardino. But as we get into the afternoon hours for today, we're looking at another nice day across Southern California, mid 70s for downtown LA, low to mid 80s around our inland spots, and we've got the 60s across the mountains. But as we go through the next couple of days, we do have a warming trend in the future. I've got details on that in just a bit. But now let's get a first check of traffic this morning with Robin Winston. Good morning.
Hi, David. Good morning. Unfortunately, we have a big trouble spot on the 60. Take a look at this video. This is westbound 60 near the Reservoir Street exit in Chino. It's a fatal accident that happened shortly after 2 a.m. and the investigation continues now. This is video from when the crash first happened. You see the flares out. You see them diverting the traffic away from the area. But as we switch over to the map, that's pretty much still the same situation here. All lanes are closed. A traffic alert remains in place. They're forcing all that traffic off at the Ramona Street exit. maybe 5:30. That's your estimated time of clearing. But once again, it's a fatal accident that is still under investigation. So definitely consider Philadelphia Street or Ramona Street as your alternate route. We'll stay on top of that for you. Meanwhile, it's going to be from Diamond Bar over to the 5, just under 20 minutes for the trip. The 10 is wide open. The 210 is wide open. You have those freeways as an alternate route as well. We'll check back in on that traffic alert coming up in a little bit. Lynette, Adrian, back to you.
All right, Robin, thank you. 4:03 right now. Family, friends, and the community are remembering 5 people who were killed in the high-speed crash in Santa Ana. They gathered for a candlelight vigil last night.
Now, many of the victims were teenagers and siblings, all from the Santa Ana Unified School District. NBC4's Lauren Coronado is live in Santa Ana with how friends are remembering the victims as this investigation continues into this crash. Lauren.
Lynette, Adrian, good morning. Such a tragic crash, and I want to show you the memorial. This is where the crash happened late Saturday night. You'll see those crosses and candles that are glowing right now. It's just such a difficult loss in the community. 5 of the 6 people riding inside of the car involved in the crash died. Santa Ana police say several were teenagers who were students in the Santa Ana School District, and some are believed to have been family members, siblings, cousins. The aftermath of the crash is really tough to look at. It happened again late Saturday night, just before 11:30 near Surgerstorm near Fairview Street. Police say the driver appears to have been speeding before slamming into a tree. Drugs and/or alcohol are believed to have been a factor as well, but it's not clear who the driver was. And we're beginning to learn more about the students killed from their friends and classmates who are sharing how they'll be remembered.
They were fun to hang out with, and like they were always there for us, and like we were always there for each other. And like I wish I could have spent more time with them, like before they like, you know, but we loved them like a lot.
It's expected to be a really difficult day for students as they return to school without their classmates. We understand that counselors will be available for those who are dealing with this tragedy. Back out here live, as you see this growing memorial, you'll see the pile of flowers there as well. We are working to find out more about those who died and, of course, more details about the cause of the crash. We'll bring you another live update in the next hour. Reporting live, I'm Lauren Coronado for Today in LA.
Really tough day there for sure. All right, thank you for that, Lauren. Well, Americans and U.S. markets are preparing for more tariff turmoil after the next round of levies took effect over the weekend. President Trump's Treasury Secretary tells NBC News workers ready to retire aren't worried about day-to-day market fluctuations, while Democrats slammed that response as the 401ks continue to plunge. NBC's Alice Barr has the very latest from Washington as the president is back in Washington today.
This morning, markets bracing for what could be another wild week on Wall Street as investors grapple with President Trump's new tariffs.
What's going to happen with the market, I can't tell you, but I can tell you our country has gotten a lot stronger.
A minimum 10% tariff kicked in over the weekend against trading partners across the globe, set to rise even more on Wednesday for dozens of countries. The White House says more than 50 have now reached out about lowering trade barriers.
They're dying to make a deal. But I said, we're not going to have deficits with your country.
The Treasury Secretary pushing back against recession fears and added anxiety for Americans who want to retire, seeing their savings plunge.
I think they don't look at the day-to-day fluctuations of what's happening.
Democrats reject that, slamming the president's response.
People have seen their retirement savings on fire, and there he is out on the golf course.
Nationwide, hands-off protests over the weekend rallied against Trump administration policies, including the growing immigration crackdown, as the White House faces a deadline today to return a man wrongly deported to a notorious El Salvador prison. Kilmer Abrego Garcia, a husband and father with no criminal conviction, was granted legal status in the U.S. in 2019. A federal judge saying his detention appears wholly lawless. The Trump administration says he's affiliated with the MS-13 gang, though the Justice Department's own lawyer acknowledged the absence of evidence in court. Attorney General Pam Bondi now placing that lawyer on administrative leave. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu headed to the White House today to talk tariff relief and the reignited war in Gaza, amid new criticism over the Israeli military's killing of 15 rescue workers and its now disputed account. In Washington, Alice Barr, NBC News.
Alice, thank you for that. We do want to show you a live look right now at the stock futures. And not as bad as they were this time last week, but they are still down. The Dow Jones down over 700 points. The NASDAQ almost 400 points. Again, these are the futures. Stock markets around the world, we're seeing it happen again, plunging. The stock exchange actually opens this morning here at 6:30 in the morning. We'll keep an eye on the board throughout the morning.
For more context on the stock market decline, last week the U.S. stock market saw its largest single-day decline since the start of the pandemic, March of 2020. The Dow Jones posted back-to-back losses of more than 1,500 points for the first time ever. Those combined losses only come close to totaling some of the biggest single-day drops: Black Monday in 1987, the pandemic crash, and the Black Tuesday crash, which spawned the Great Depression in 1929. Now, U.S. oil prices are down below $60 a barrel, falling more than 12% last week to its lowest level since April 2021.
The Trump administration says more than 50 countries have already approached the U.S. hoping to negotiate the new tariffs. The question is, how long will Americans have to hang tough? We spoke to a finance and economics professor from Loyola Marymount University about this impact.
Our trading partners, it could be Mexico, China, Korea, they have a lot more to lose because they are exporting a lot more to us than we export to them. And then so they have really good reasons for them to start negotiating.
But I hope that it's just a temporary deal, that he's trying to leverage them, and that they'll take the tariffs off.
The professor we spoke with, Professor Sohn, says it will take time before we see any positive economic change and that we will likely not see any meaningful trade negotiations for several months.
Well, here in California, Governor Newsom announced that he has a plan and he's trying to circumvent some of the economic impact from these tariffs. He's directed the state to pursue new trade relationships and ask partners to exempt California goods from any retaliatory tariffs.
All right, the Dodgers are celebrating their World Series win at the White House this morning. It is happening before the first of a 3-game series against the Washington Nationals tonight. The team will also visit Capitol Hill tomorrow. We will bring you live coverage of those visits from Washington, D.C. with our Olivia Garvey. She is there. She'll be with them every step of the way. That's coming up today at 6 a.m. And be sure to join us for live coverage of the big event. That's starting at 8 a.m. Just look for our NBC Los Angeles News channel wherever you stream.
Would you pay $414,000 for a baseball? Well, one Dodgers fan did. You can see it right there. It was used in the final. Well, yeah. I guess it's used during the final pitch of the Dodgers 2024 World Series Championship. Thrown, caught, right? Yeah. Proceeds from the weekend sale will go to the Catching Hope Foundation. That is a nonprofit run by catcher Will Smith. That money will then go towards helping LA wildfire victims.
Nice.
And good morning. So for today, we are looking for a rocket launch to happen this afternoon. It should be pretty visible across the whole region, considering we are looking at pretty clear skies. This will be launching right around 3 o'clock this afternoon. Reminder to look toward the west or the northwest to see if this becomes visible after about 30 to 45 seconds, depending on your location. For today, though, we're looking at beautiful conditions across all of Southern California. We'll have a lot of low to mid 80s across the high desert for today, with 81 in Victorville, 84 degrees on Edwards Air Force Base, 82 degrees in Lancaster, 60s across the area mountains. For the Inland Empire, we've got temperatures today in the low to mid 80s with 83 degrees around Riverside, 82 degrees in Moreno Valley, and 81 degrees in Temecula. As we get closer to the coastline, I should point out that we will have some patchy coastal fog for today. It'll start forming up this afternoon, then just kind of sit over some of the beaches. So 66 degrees in Huntington Beach for today, with the fog probably nearby this afternoon. 77 though in Santa Ana, 78 degrees in Anaheim with sunny skies overhead. We'll see that patchy coastal fog for the Ventura County coastal areas as well. 66 degrees in Oxnard, 74 degrees in Thousand Oaks, 76 in Simi Valley today, 80s around the LA County valleys, and that does include the San Gabriel Valley with 80 degrees around West Covina, 78 though around Alhambra, 79 in Whittier, 76 in downtown LA, 73 degrees in Long Beach and 67 degrees in Manhattan Beach. As I mentioned earlier, we do have some warmer temperatures coming our way for later on this week. I'll show you when and how warm it's going to be coming up in just a couple of minutes. But now I'll send things over to Robin. She's got a look at the roadways this morning.
Hi, David. Good morning. Yes, checking out some trouble spots, starting off with a new problem here. Leaving East LA, this is on the 10, eastbound 10 at Soto Street. Just got word of a crash here. Looks like a driver spun out and that vehicle is right up against a tree. So emergency crews are on the way. The big problem that I'm tracking, it's an accident that's been under investigation since 2 a.m. this morning in Chino. If you normally take the 60, expect delays, leave early. There's a big problem here at Reservoir Street, a fatal accident that is under investigation and no one's getting through. At last check, CHP had all lanes closed and they're diverting that traffic off at Ramona. 5:30 is your estimated time of clearing, and it's starting to back up there as you approach the scene. So consider Philadelphia Street, consider Walnut as your alternate to get around that slow traffic there leading up to the scene. Drive time is 32 minutes and growing from the 215 to the 57. The 10 looks great if you want to use that as an alternate. The 210, I know it's out of the way, but that's open for you as well. So please keep that in mind. We'll check in on more trouble spots coming up in a bit. Lynette, back to you.
All right, thank you, Robin. Well, next at 4, very sad news out of Long Beach over the weekend. What we now know about the death of a whale that's been seen hovering around the harbor.
Plus, changes are coming to the Postal Service starting tomorrow. What you need to know before you put that next letter or package in the mail.
And an Orange County judge accused of shooting his wife to death is now preparing for his second trial. The next steps coming up in court.
Today, your world champion Dodgers visit the White House. NBC4's Olivia Garvey is live in D.C. with Mookie, Freddie, Kike, and Ohtani. Inside the World Series title celebration, the Dodgers visit the White House this morning at 6 a.m. on Today in L.A.
Renaissance Pleasure Fair. Come fairies, villains, and witches fell. Knights, heroes, lords, and queens. There are songs to sing and tales to tell. Flavor, savor, wonders seen. We are all unique, yet this we share. A home at the Renaissance Pleasure Fair. To all the world's creatures, great and small, huzzah! And welcome to you all.
Renaissance Pleasure Fair.
Some things are just better at home, like picking out new floors. For a limited time, step into savings with up to 40% off your entire project. Saving on new floors is just better at home. Call or visit EmpireToday.com for your free in-home consultation.
Empire Today.
In a world where accidents happen and insurance companies deny claims, a hero rises to get justice for the injured. From the firm that's won over $1 billion for their clients comes Sweet Justice with Sweet James.
There's plenty of ways to play at Morongo. Play at the beach. Play with friends. Play at a bar under the sun. And a lazy river. Come play at SoCal's favorite Oasis Beach Pool and Lazy River. Only at Morongo. Good times.
On the next Access Daily.
Randall Park from Shondaland's The Resident.
I love Uzo so much. We really clicked right away.
Plus, she's TV's newest top doc.
Molly Parker joins us.
Next Access Daily.
Today at 1 on NBC4.
Happening today, the retrial of an Orange County judge charged with the murder of his wife. The first trial ended with a mistrial in March. Well, today we're expecting new jury selection for the case against Jeffrey Ferguson, who claims he accidentally discharged a gun, shooting and killing his wife at their Anaheim Hills home in 2023. The new trial will happen in Orange County.
Closing arguments are expected to continue today in the trial of a woman accused of murdering her husband, a prominent hairdresser. Monica Cementilli is charged with murder and conspiracy in connection with the case. Prosecutors say she and her lover, Robert Baker, stabbed her husband to death at the couple's Woodland Hills home back in 2017. Investigators say they had plans to cash in a life insurance policy worth $1.6 million. Baker was already sentenced to life in prison after pleading no contest to both of those charges.
New changes at the USPS begin tomorrow. The cost-saving measures aim to save $36 billion over the next decade. This is part of a Delivering for America 10-year plan to modernize the postal network, achieve financial stability, and improve service quality. The USPS says it's streamlining networks, cutting work hours, and closing unnecessary facilities. Changes will affect first-class mail, marketing mail, package services, priority mail express, and more. Depending on where you live, you could experience either faster or slower delivery times.
4:17 right now. The Trump administration is instructing national parks to remain open and accessible, even amid staffing cuts. Interior Secretary Doug Burgum is directing these parks to ensure proper staffing. This directive follows the administration's workforce reductions. They were implemented through voluntary separation offers, layoffs, and an earlier hiring freeze. Last year, our national parks welcomed over 331 million visitors.
And good morning. For today, we are going to be looking at the chance of maybe getting some patchy fog in a few spots as we wake up right around the sunrise time frame. You can see that we've got a little hint of that here on Futurecast. Not sure how much that's actually going to come together, considering that we're not looking at really any fog sitting against the coast just yet. But as we go through the afternoon hours for today, you will see the fog bank off the coastline develop and eventually just sit right along our coastal areas as we get into the afternoon. This really won't do anything for the inland spots, though. We're looking at sunny skies for today and temperatures that'll be well into the 80s, especially for the IE, and just barely into the 80s across some parts of the San Fernando Valley and the San Gabriel Valley. As we go through the overnight hours, though, you can see the marine layer looks a little better formed up here. We'll start off with some early morning low clouds and fog for parts of the basin, Orange County, and our coastal areas. And we'll also have some passing high clouds throughout the day. But notice how the fog well into the afternoon, this is 3 o'clock again, is still sitting right up against our coastal areas. So the beaches likely have the fog kind of sitting right over the sand, while just a little bit farther inland, it's still looking relatively sunny. As we go from Tuesday into Wednesday, though, the fog will likely be reinforced along the coastline. We will start off again with some early morning low clouds and fog. The reason for the reinforcing is because now we have high pressure starting to really build in over the west coast, and that'll bring about a warming trend. Before we get there, though, we have 2 days of temperatures that'll be pretty similar. For today and tomorrow, we're looking at the low to mid 80s across our inland spots. We've got the mid 70s around the basin, low 70s around some of our areas closer to the coastlines, but for some of our coastal cities like Oxnard, we're still looking at temperatures for today in the mid 60s. But check out the 7-day forecast. You can see the heat coming our way. We've got the base on top, coastline down below. That's going to be arriving for the Wednesday, Thursday, Friday time frame. But you'll notice if you've been watching over the past couple of days, we've taken our high temperature numbers and we've trimmed them back just a bit. And that's because the marine layer may actually play more into the forecast than we originally were thinking. It's going to hang on, bringing patchy fog to the coastal areas through at least Wednesday. That may linger into the rest of the week. And then by next weekend, we'll be much cooler as the high pressure breaks down and temperatures cool back into the low to mid 70s. The valleys are on top. IE forecast is down below. Next 2 days, we've got the low to mid 80s. But as we get into the Wednesday, Thursday, Friday time frame, that's where we start to get mid to upper 80s with some low 90s mixed in, likely around the Inland Empire, before we start to cool off heading into next weekend with temperatures back into the upper 70s by the time we get into about Saturday and Sunday. We've got the high desert forecast on top, low desert forecast down below. It's very similar. Next 2 days or so, not a ton of temperature change. Then Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, warmer than the next couple of days. So expect upper 80s to low 90s for the high desert. For the low desert, we'll likely get back above 100 degrees for at least a day or two. Cooler, though, by next weekend. And same for the area mountains. Next couple of days, pretty similar temperature-wise. We're looking at the mid 60s. We'll start warming up into about the low 70s for Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday before cooling back into the mid 60s heading into next weekend. Now let's look at your forecast. Now send things over to Robin. How's it looking out there?
Well, you know, the only big trouble spot that I have right now, David, is on the 60. We're checking in with Street Vision, who's heading east on the 60 through Pomona. This is your counter commute direction. We're heading toward the 71 split. The big problem is in the opposite direction. So we're on the way west 60 at Reservoir Street. This is a fatal crash that we've been tracking since shortly after 2 a.m., where at least one person did not survive. So as the investigation continues, we have all lanes closed and that traffic being diverted off the freeway at Ramona. So it's starting to back up traffic there a couple of miles leading up to the scene. Once again, the westbound side of the 60 is closed. The eastbound side not impacted by that traffic alert. For your drive here on the 10, rolling out of East LA right around Soto Street, injury accident here involving a driver off the road into a tree. Still waiting for that. Oh, and back to the 60. I just wanted to give you some alternate routes. I forgot about this. Since the 60 is closed, you can take Philadelphia, there's Walnut, there's Riverside. All of those streets run parallel to the 60. That'll help you get around the closure, or you can go ahead and take the 10 and head west. The 5 is wide open. The 14, 30 minutes Palmdale off to the Newhall Pass, and the 405 looks really good for now. You can beat the rush, 23 minutes down to Inglewood. Adrian, back to you.
All right, thank you, Robin. 4:21 right now. Next at 4, scary moments for shoppers in downtown LA's Fashion District over the weekend. What police are saying about this crash after a driver and a minivan plowed right through a crowd.
Plus, it's a big day for tennis superstar Billie Jean King. The next accolade she's set to add to her list of accomplishments. You are watching Today in LA.
It's At Home in the Valley, a warehouse full of rugs. Too many rugs, way too many rugs. It's time for a sale. Save on thousands of rugs in stock. Take one home today. Modern, traditional, shag, solids, and textures, all at low, low prices. Roll runners for stairs and hallways, any length you need. Since 1979, At Home in the Valley, 16531 Satakoy Street, Van Nuys, 818-780-4663, online at athomeinthevalley.com.
When a truck hit my car, the insurance company wasn't fair. I didn't know what my case was worth, so I called the Barnes firm.
I was hit by a car and needed help. I called the Barnes firm. That was the best call I could have made.
I'm Rich Barnes. It's hard for people to know how much their accident case is worth. Let our injury attorneys help you get the best result possible.
The Barnes firm. Injury attorneys. Call 1-800-8-million.
The Design Studio by Mathis Home is the premier destination for designer furniture. We have the latest trends from top brands with heirloom quality pieces for every room in your house. Whether you're redecorating a single room or furnishing the entire home, we have the styles you'll love. Plus, enjoy fast, complimentary delivery. Visit us now for exclusive discounts and let us help make your dream home a reality for less than you ever imagined. At the Design Studio by Mathis Home.
You're the reason we start our day at 2 a.m. Because you make Southern California more than just a place. You make it a home. At Today in LA, we work really hard to make sure that your stories are heard, your concerns are addressed, and your families are prepared and protected. You're our inspiration. Let us be your voice. And together, we can make our home better.
Time now for Hollywood Buzz, and we start with sad news in the entertainment world. The original Dennis the Menace has died.
I am not interested. Goodbye, Dennis.
Bye, Mr. Wilson. See you when I get back from the park.
That's what I'm afraid of.
It was a great show. Actor Jay North played the mischievous but well-meaning boy who made life difficult for his neighbor back in the 1960s series. A longtime friend says North died at his home after battling colon cancer. He was 73 years old. Tennis legend and feminist pioneer Billie Jean King will be getting a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. Her star will be dedicated in the category of sports entertainment. The Long Beach native is the first woman to be honored with the sports entertainment star. This is a big deal, so congratulations to her. Jamie Lee Curtis and Magic Johnson will be guest speakers. It'll be happening today at 11:30 this morning.
We want to save this world. Creativity is key to survival.
Now what? Elytra wingsuits. Bye-bye.
Those things work, right?
Absolutely.
Well, now we have it. A Minecraft movie has built up a whopping $157 million at the box office in the U.S. and Canada this weekend. Globally, it pulled in more than $300 million. It was pretty popular. The movie now takes the top spot for the biggest box office opening day of 2025. Wow. The film starring Jack Black and Jason Momoa took more than a decade to develop. And it's based on the hit game Minecraft, which I've never played, I have to admit that, which ranks the best-selling video game of all time. So it was only a matter of time before a movie was inspired by it.
You know what's so cool about it is the movie looks like it'd be fun for kids, right? But I know Minecraft is like not just a kids game. A lot of kids start it when they're like in middle school, and then they stay hooked through high school. And I mean, she might get annoyed at me for saying, but I think Olivia still plays Minecraft.
Okay, she's gonna have to break it down and explain it to us.
Like a lot of the college students play it too, because they've got their whole account. I don't know how it works either.
It's very popular.
I mean, I started playing with her when she was like little, and then it got too difficult for me. I gave up.
We need lessons.
And maybe some reviews for the movies. Our 4-year-old saw the billboard and he's like, "Well, I want to see that." It's like I need to know if it's appropriate for a 4-year-old.
Yes.
Yeah.
We don't.
Do a little preview, check it out, see if it's dad approved, and then
Yeah.
yeah.
Thank you, Robin.
Sure.
Don't they have a thing that you can see if it's parental. Like there's like a little website or something.
Oh, go check it
We should
out.
look. I think
If I do this story again at 6, I'll let you guys know.
Yeah.
Yes. We'll
Good
see if
i-
it's
good idea.
aided approved.
Sure. 427 right now. Still had police in Huntington Park are looking for the men responsible for lighting a strip mall on fire and then just taking off.
A look at the millions of dollars worth of damage they caused.
A man being questioned in connection to the disappearance and death of a 13-year-old boy from Sun Valley is scheduled to appear in court today on a different case. We have the very latest in this growing investigation.
Some things are just better at home, like picking out new floors. For a limited time, step into savings with up to 40% off your entire project. Our experts bring the showroom to you so you can see samples right in your space. That's Empire's home floor advantage. Don't miss your chance to save on select styles fully installed. Call or visit EmpireToday.com for your free in-home consultation.
Empire Today.
My brother Joe and I live right across the state line from each other. We worked our whole lives here. So when he got mesothelioma from working in the yards, we knew who could help. Whites and Luxembourg. Their results and experience are hard to match. Now, Joe's wife and kids are taken care of. I'll never regret making that call as soon as I did.
Call Whites in Luxembourg today at 800-885-MESO. That's 800-885-MESO.
My moderate to severe Crohn's symptoms kept me out of the picture. With Skyrizi, feel symptom relief at 4 weeks. Many people were in remission at 12 weeks, at 1 year, and even at 3 years.
Don't use if allergic. Serious allergic reactions, increased infections, or lower ability to fight them may occur. Before treatment, get checked for infections and TB. Tell your doctor about any flu-like symptoms or vaccines. Liver problems leading to hospitalization may occur when treated for Crohn's.
Ask your gastroenterologist about Skyrizi.
Mobility in dogs and cats is very important. I'm Dr. Travis Vandenberg. I'm a veterinarian, and I do recommend Gentle Giant's natural non-GMO dog and puppy food, as well as the cat and kitten food. Gentle Giants has the New Zealand green lip mussel, which is a bioavailable source of glucosamine and chondroitin. We feed it from puppies and kittens 3 weeks of age all the way to the oldest dogs and cats, and that's what's nice about it.
At Petco, Stater Brothers, H-E-B, and more.
Gentle Giants for life.
Now at 4:30, a soccer coach being questioned in the case of a murdered teenager is set to appear in court today on different charges. We are live to break down what we know about this case so far.
And an investigation in Santa Ana this morning after 5 people died in a weekend car crash. Some just teenagers. What their classmates and friends are saying about the tragedy.
Today in LA at 4:30 starts now.
Good morning to you. It is Monday, April 7th. This is a live look outside of our studios here in Universal City. It was a beautiful weekend. We've got some more sunshine in store for us. Thanks so much for joining us. I'm Lynette Romero.
And I'm Adrian Arabula. We're going to check in with meteorologist David Bigger in for Berlin this morning. All right, so yesterday warm, a bit breezy as well.
Yeah.
How are things looking for today?
Probably a little less breezy, but still just about as warm, I think, across the area. So if you like the weekend, you're going to love the next 2 days or so. Here's what it looks like right now for our Mount Wilson camera, looking out across parts of the San Gabriel Valley, where you can see all the lights out down below because we don't have any low cloud cover. No fog, no low clouds, nothing to contend with this morning, at least not yet. We're looking at temperatures right now running in the 50s outside of most spots. We do have a few 40s though on the map right around Hemet, 46 degrees, same with Temecula, 48 degrees for Thousand Oaks, 47 degrees in Oxnard, but still around 50 degrees currently in downtown LA and 54 degrees in Long Beach. As we go through the morning hours, we're expecting to see a lot of 50s for a good portion of the region, relatively clear skies. The coast may get some patches of fog, but it still hasn't really formed up just yet. Later on today, though, it'll be sunny across all locations, with the exception being the beaches where we will have some low clouds. We'll have temperatures in the 60s to the 70s and even the 80s across some of our inland spots. It'll be even warmer later this week. I've got details coming up in a bit, but now I'll send it back over to Robin Winston with a look at traffic.
Good morning. Yes, the traffic is slow right now, David, heading along the 60 rolling through Chino. A fatal accident under investigation. It's happened in the 2 o'clock hour, and we still have all lanes closed. West 60 at the Reservoir Street exit, so that is definitely a stretch to avoid. Street Vision is on the way. We'll take a closer look or a live look coming up a little bit later. But with that traffic being diverted off the freeway, you should leave early. You should consider the 10 instead. Maybe 5:30 is your estimated time of clearing, but you also have surface streets like Philadelphia, Walnut, or Riverside Drive. All of those can be used as an alternate as well. Since the backup is growing, I will check that drive time when I see you back here in a little bit. Lynette, Adrian, back to you.
Robin, thank you. And happening today, a man being questioned in the death and disappearance of a Sun Valley teenager is scheduled to appear in court today.
Now, he was arrested on a separate and unrelated charge. NBC4's Brittany Hope is live in downtown LA with the connection to the teenager. Brittany?
Hey, good morning, everyone. Oscar Omar Hernandez's family tells us that the man was Oscar's soccer coach. They say that they had met a few months ago at Whitsett Fields in North Hollywood, where that man was providing individual lessons, but he wasn't affiliated with an organization. The teen's family tells us that that coach then invited him to his house in Lancaster to do some work for pay. And we know after that, Oscar never made it back home. According to multiple law enforcement sources, 43-year-old Mario Edgardo Garcia Aquino was tracked down by LAPD on Wednesday, questioned about the teen's death, and was booked on a warrant for an unrelated case. Court records show he's facing a single count of assault with intent to commit another felony. The arrest warrant reveals that other felony was the attempted rape of a man in February 2024. As of this morning, Garcia Aquino has not been named a suspect in the death of the 13-year-old, and the investigation is ongoing. But the teen's family is desperate for answers. They've been holding vigils for the boy at their home in the San Fernando Valley and in Oxnard, where his body was found last week. Oscar Omar went to Sun Valley Magnet School, and his fellow students and friends tell us he was a very nice boy.
I really feel bad for Oscar Omar because he was only 13. He had a whole life ahead of him. He was very cheerful. He didn't pick up fights nor nothing.
Garcia Aquino is scheduled to be in court this morning here in downtown LA at 8:30 on that unrelated sexual assault charge. We're live in downtown. Brittany Hope for Today in LA.
All right, Brittany, thank you. Tragedy in Santa Ana over the weekend after 5 people died in a crash after speeding and slamming into a tree. A memorial of candles and flowers has now been set up for the victims. The crash happened around 11:30 Saturday night near Segerstrom Avenue and Townsend Street. 6 person remains in the hospital this morning. Police say the driver lost control, crashed into the tree in the median. The car then split in half. Police say several of the people in the car were teenagers who attended school in the Santa Ana Unified School District.
I just started crying, like, I don't know. It's just because I've known them for so long and we've been through so much.
I wish I could have spent more time with them, like, before they, but we love them, like, a lot, and you never know how much time you can spend with somebody before you go.
Police believe that drugs or alcohol may have been a factor in the crash, but they're waiting on the toxicology results. NBC4's Lauren Coronado have a live report from that scene coming up on Today in LA at 5 a.m.
In LA's Fashion District, 9 people were hurt, including children, after a minivan crashed into a crowd near Santee Alley. It happened on Sunday afternoon along 12th Street. The LAPD tells us of the 9 victims, 7 were taken to the hospital, and the youngest was 8 years old. A witness tells us it seemed the driver lost control of the minivan, barreling into a crowded outdoor dining patio.
Saw everything happened. The lady was honking the horn. So some guys that are in the way, and they didn't get out of the way, so she stepped on the gas pedal and it got stuck. And when it got stuck, she went out of control and crashed into the restaurant.
Police are still looking into what led to the crash. All 9 victims are expected to be okay.
There is a search right now for 2 men suspected of starting a fire at a strip mall in Huntington Park early yesterday morning. The LA County Sheriff's Department tells NBC4 that the fire started just after 3 a.m. at Pacific Boulevard and Florence Avenue. LA County fire investigators say it was arson set deliberately. The strip mall suffered about $4 million in damages.
A sad update about the whale nicknamed Bob, who has been captivating people in Long Beach over the past few days. The National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration has confirmed that the small whale died yesterday. Crews attempted to move him out to sea this week, but after each attempt, he just kept swimming back. The whale was found dead in the morning. Marine biologists took the tissue samples a few hours later.
Sometime in the night, it came out, went up this way, got stuck up here, and passed away. The efforts today by our partners are going to help us to figure out what happened.
The marine biologists will analyze the samples from the whale in a lab to try to determine how it died.
It is National Crime Victims' Rights Week, and in Whittier, families of homicide victims held a memorial last night. This was the 41st annual event for the nonprofit Justice for Homicide Victims. Pictures were set up in Rose Hills Memorial Park of loved ones who've been lost. The event provides support for families as they try to rebuild their lives. Advocates and representatives from the LAPD, the Sheriff's Department, and District Attorney's Office were there. Well, coming up, hantavirus cases are growing in a Northern California city.
What health authorities believe may be the cause and what you can do to protect yourself.
And here's a live look outside right now from Catalina. We're looking at a beautiful day across Southern California for today and for tomorrow, but some heat is on the way. I've got details on that coming up in just a couple minutes. Robin?
Good morning. Good morning. Just got a word of a new trouble spot in Pomona. This is on the 10, heading west at the 57 split. A driver just spun out and flipped over. I'll have details on this and our fatal crash on the 60 coming up after the break. Stay with us.
So which would you recommend?
Do you like brown?
Yeah, some things are just better at home. With Empire's Home Floor Advantage, you can compare samples in your own space.
Call or visit EmpireToday.com and get the home floor advantage.
Empire Today.
At Bob's, you get the lowest prices every day. Like our modular Bob, which configures to fit your family at just $250 each section. Sleep well on our Consumer Reports recommended Treasure and Copper Radiance mattresses. And quality meets value with our Ellington, only $12.99 every day. No phony sales ever.
It's on sale at the other store. Wait, no, it's off sale. No, it's on sale.
When you get everyday low prices on the furniture of your dreams, there's only one thing to say.
Oh, my Bob!
Time for a sale. Save on thousands of rugs in stock. Take one home today. Modern, traditional, shag, solids, and textures, all at low, low prices. Roll runners for stairs and hallways, any length you need. Since 1979, at home in the Valley, 16531 Satakoy Street, Van Nuys, 818-780-4663, online at homeinthevalley.com.
It's your moment. The views, the people. That's a recipe for a loving moment. Right now, it's the only moment. The seafood, the wine, the steak and lobster. Cielo at Morongo Casino Resort and Spa. Good times.
When you've been hurt in an accident, hiring the right attorney can mean the difference between winning $10,000 or $10 million. Call the firm that wins big. Call Sweet James.
Pope Francis made his first public appearance over the weekend since being discharged from the hospital 2 weeks ago. The 88-year-old pontiff entered St. Peter's Square at the Vatican in a wheelchair as part of a Jubilee Mass for the sick. He gave his blessings to the crowd and fellow archbishop. The Pope has been out of public view after undergoing more than 5 weeks of treatment for pneumonia in both lungs.
Well, 3 people in Mammoth Lakes have died from hantavirus, the same illness that killed actor Gene Hackman's wife in February. Health officials in Mono County are calling the situation tragic and alarming. The rare virus is spread by rodents from their urine, droppings, and saliva to humans. The latest death, a young adult. Health and Human Services says it does not know how the person was infected, but the county's public health officer says deer mice's numbers have increased in the eastern Sierra this year, and he is urging everyone to be careful around mice and use caution around animal droppings.
Another child with measles in Texas has died. This is the second reported child death. The Department of Health and Human Services is still looking into the exact cause of death, but confirms the child did have measles. As of Friday, Texas officials say 481 cases of measles were confirmed. Now, that is a 14% jump from the previous week. The outbreak in Texas started in January and has spread to at least 2 other states.
Well, after the break, it's been 3 months since several wildfires decimated our communities. What Pacific Palisades is doing to rise up from the ashes as county leaders prepare to tour Altadena today.
Stay in LA. That's the message from Hollywood TV and movie employees fighting for their jobs, what they're asking for from Governor Gavin Newsom.
And good morning, I'm Michelle Baez. Hundreds of student visas across universities have been revoked without warning, including right here at UCLA. What's behind the crackdown and the cause of concern on campus?
Spring is here at Living Spaces.
Non-GMO pet food is important. Genetically modifying things so we can use pesticides, herbicides on food items concerns me a lot because those are poisons. We're seeing cancer all the time, and it's more and more and more. To not put toxins into our bodies and our pets' bodies, the better off we're going to be. I recommend Gentle Giant's natural, non-GMO dog and puppy food and natural, non-GMO cat and kitten food.
There's a reason the Karate Master was the #1 salesman in the lumber department.
Karate.
Just like there's a reason Morgan & Morgan is America's largest injury law firm. Injured? With over $25 billion recovered for our clients, there's a reason to go big. Morgan & Morgan, America's largest injury law firm.
Todd takes Prevagen for his brain, and this is his story.
Hi, I'm Todd. I'm a veteran of 23 years. I served 3 overseas tours. I love to give back to the community. I saw a Prevagen commercial and I did some research on it. I started taking Prevagen about 3 years ago. I've told my coworkers and family since taking Prevagen how much of a difference it's made in my life. I feel really good.
Prevagen, for your brain.
This round, each coach only has 1 steal.
1 steal.
1 steal.
How are you deciding?
I quit.
That's the sound of a steal!
The Voice, new tonight on NBC and Peacock.
We just got a hit.
The killer chemist.
Inmate 0 in the prison. She was at the center of all of it, but we don't know why. We gotta find her.
The Hunting Party season finale tonight on NBC and Peacock.
4:44 right now. Hundreds of student visas have been revoked at universities across the nation, including UCLA.
Now, at least 6 current students and 6 former students are impacted, but there could be more. NBC4's Michelle Baez is live in Westwood to explain what we know about these visa terminations. Good morning, Michelle.
Lynette, Adrian, good morning. Good morning, everyone. Those revocations were due to violations of individual student visas. What kind of violations? The school is not specifying. However, they are citing privacy concerns. And NBC News is reporting that some of those students could be tied to political activism. That's being explored. It was on Sunday that UCLA's chancellor's Dr. Frank made the announcement and said that the numbers are fluid and could change, adding these developments have raised a great deal of questions and concern within the Bruin community. Dr. Frank stated in a message to the Bruin community that UCLA officials learned of these revocations during a routine audit of the Student and Exchange Visitor Information Systems records. The records showed that the Student and Exchange Visitor Program had revoked the SEVI status of 6 current students and 6 former students participating in a practical training program. The chancellor said the revocations were due to, again, violations of individual visa programs. And he added that while they recognize these actions can bring feelings of anxiety and concern, he noted that there are varying resources and guidance on campus made available to international students, encouraging the Bruin community to stay informed and connected. He also emphasized that UCLA is committed to supporting the students while, though, complying with the law, and said at this time UCLA is not aware of any federal law enforcement activity on campus regarding these terminations. That's the latest outside Royce Hall on the UCLA campus. Michelle Valles for Today in LA.
Michelle, thank you for that. Well, today marks 3 months since wildfires swept through several cities in LA County. The community of Pacific Palisades is vowing to be resilient from the devastation and rebuild. A block party was held outside the Palisades Garden Cafe on Saturday night. It was the first restaurant to reopen in the area. James Kwan has owned the eatery for more than 21 years, and he believes it was a miracle his business survived the fire.
4 schools within 1 block are gone. The library, 1 block gone. The rec center, the Rouse, it's all gone. And I just can't believe we're still standing. I'm just very grateful.
Members of the LA Fire Department, Station 23, who were among the first to respond to the Palisades fire, joined the celebration. About a dozen local vendors also sold merchandise inspired by the community's strength. The World Central Kitchen, who sponsored the block party, handed out restaurant gift cards to attendees in support of reopened businesses.
Today, LA City Council member Tracy Park and Supervisor Catherine Barger will tour fire zones in Altadena to assess progress and recovery efforts. They'll also give an update on what comes next for displaced families and recovering neighborhoods.
TV and film crews are rallying in support of restoring lost production jobs in LA.
Over 100,000 small businesses are employed because of you.
The coalition, made up of hundreds of industry workers, union leaders, and small business owners, gathered yesterday in Sun Valley. They're calling on the state to more than double the California production tax incentive to help keep productions from leaving the area.
Right now, there's no work in Hollywood. Work has been leaving town for the past year and a half. We thought it was going to pick up, and it hasn't.
Work is dying off fast, and working mainly in commercials, our area never seems to be covered by the taxes. So I'm really hoping that Sacramento, when they do divvy out the tax incentives, include commercials along with television and film.
Governor Gavin Newsom originally proposed raising the incentive from $330 million to $750 million back in October.
Well, Pasadena Playhouse is once again the owner of its historic 1925 building. It was lost to bankruptcy in 1970, had been privately owned for decades. The purchase was announced as the original building prepares to turn 100 years old next month. Now, the money came from a $15 million fundraising campaign. The theater's artistic director says there's a lot of work to be done to fix up the building, but he's hopeful that they can give it new life for the next century.
Okay, guys, it's been all the buzz online. Coachella returns this Friday. The music festival dropped its full schedule over the weekend with the addition of 2 previously unannounced acts, Weezer and Ed Sheeran.
Those are big acts, right?
Lady Gaga, Post Malone, Travis Scott, some of the big names headlining the festival. Are you in?
I'd go to all 3 nights. If
it were back in the day,
How about
right?
you?
What about you? Would you go bigger?
Yeah, maybe. I don't like the heat, though. I don't like being outside in the sun like that. So, but,
Well,
you know,
but
it's good music,
Most
though.
of the acts,
I know, that's a good
headliners
point.
are
That's a very good point. So, yeah, maybe I'd be in for that. Yeah, let's talk a little bit about what we're going to be seeing as we head closer and closer to next weekend. You can see that, taking a look at the overall pattern here, we have high pressure that's sitting just off the west coast. This high will start building in over the west as we go through the next couple of days. Peaking right around the Wednesday, Thursday time frame, you can see how the jet stream's been pushed up well to the north and is sort of spread out here. This is a broad ridge of high pressure, although even though it looks similar to our summertime ridges that we get that bring us our heat waves, it's not in the right position for that. This high would have to be closer to the Four Corners region and a lot stronger. So fortunately, we're not at that point. So we are going to see some 80s and 90s inland, but it's only going to be for a few days because this area of low pressure will start getting closer and closer to the Pacific Northwest. This will start to move that ridge of high pressure along and allow temperatures to cool off by the time we head into next weekend. But before we get to the heat, we've got some temperatures that are actually pretty nice, pretty close to normal for this time of year. 76 degrees around downtown LA, for example, 83 degrees in Riverside and Lake Elsinore, 81 in Temecula, 80 degrees in Van Nuys, mid 70s around Thousand Oaks, mid 60s for Oxnard. And we're looking at temperatures in the low to mid 80s across portions of the high desert, and again, 60s across the area mountains. But let me show you the 7-day forecast here. We'll start you off with the basin on top of the coastline down below. You'll notice for the next couple of days, we have some fog listed in there. Whether or not we really see much fog this morning, still a little bit of a question mark. We haven't seen a ton of it forming up just yet, but there's just a slight chance. I think we're going to see better fog formation as we get into Tuesday and Wednesday. And regardless of whether or not we get any over the basin for early this morning, we are looking at patchy fog along our coastal areas as we go through the next couple of afternoons. It's one of those things where we'll start off with the cloud cover. It'll peel back and then sort of hover right over the beaches, so expect to have that cloud cover all day long for some of our coastal spots. But as we get into Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, that's likely the warmest days of the week ahead, followed by a cooling trend back into low to mid 70s by the time we get into next weekend. So another nice weekend ahead, but we have to get through a little bit of heat coming our way for this week. Valleys are on top, i.e. forecast is down below for today. For tomorrow, we're looking at temperatures in the low to mid 80s. Getting into Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, those will be the warmest days of the next couple of days, likely getting into the 90s across the IE. We'll have a couple valley spots in the 90s, but I think for the most part, the valleys will be in about the mid to upper 80s. Getting into next weekend, we cool off, temperatures back into the mid to upper 70s. High desert on top, low desert forecast down below. We're looking at temperatures in the low 80s for the next couple of days, upper 80s to low 90s as we head into the Thursday and Friday time frame. Notice how we start cooling off again as we get into next weekend. So for the low desert, for the Coachella Valley, we have temperatures in the low 100s as we get toward the end of the week, but by the weekend, potentially back in the low to mid 90s. And for the area mountains, next couple of days are in the low to mid 60s. We'll warm into the 70s for Wednesday through Friday, and then we'll cool back into the 60s heading into next weekend. That's the latest on your forecast. Now here's Robin with a look at traffic.
Thank you, David. Traffic at a standstill right now on the 60 at Chino, in Chino and Reservoir Street. This is a live look from the scene of our fatal accident that we've been tracking since 2 a.m. this morning. Street Vision showing you all the lanes blocked here. You see the emergency crews stretched across the road. It happened shortly after 2. It appears to be a spin out where a driver ran off the road here. We know that at least one person did not survive. The investigation continues. All that traffic's being diverted away from the area, so you cannot go beyond Reservoir Street. What they're doing is diverting all that traffic off at the Ramona exit. Once again, a traffic alert remains in place. This is a fatality investigation, so they're thinking maybe 5:30, 6 a.m. That's your estimated time of clearing. We're going to be dealing with this for a while, so you need to leave early. The backup is growing as more commuters hit the road, so also start thinking about those alternate routes. If you want to get on the freeway after the scene, you can use streets like Philadelphia, Walnut, Riverside Drive. All of those run parallel to the 60. That's going to help you out. Earlier, I recommended the 10, but now there's a problem on the 10. West 10 at the 57. It's a rollover crash, so it's not going to be a great alternate. It has its own issues. 52 minutes to make it from Colton to Pomona. The 60, 47 minutes from Riverside to Diamond Bar. We'll take a closer look at that rollover crash on the 10 coming up next. Lynette, back to you.
All right, Robin, thank you. Also ahead, parking in LA. We know it's tough, right? But which communities have the worst parking of them all? We have the list coming up.
It's so hard to rank them. Where do you start? All right, be sure to join us live at 7 a.m. for Today in LA stream. You'll find our NBC4 Los Angeles news channel on Roku, Samsung TV Plus, Peacock, and other streaming platforms. You can scan that QR code right there on your screen right now to watch our channel anytime, right on your phone. Be right back.
When migraine strikes, do you question the trade-offs of treating? Ubrelvy is another option. It works fast, and most have migraine pain relief within 2 hours. You can treat it anytime, anywhere. Tell your doctor all medicines you take. Don't take if allergic or with strong CYP3A4 inhibitors. Get help right away for allergic reactions like trouble breathing, face, mouth, tongue, or throat swelling, which may occur hours to days after. Side effects include nausea and sleepiness. Migraine pain relief starts with you. Learn how AbbVie could help you save on Ubrelvy.
This one goes better with the walls.
This is so much easier than the home improvement store. Hey.
Yeah, some things are just better at home. With Empire's Home Floor Advantage, you can compare samples in your own space. Plus, we'll be here to help you with every step of the process.
Call or visit EmpireToday.com and get the home floor advantage.
It really is better at home.
Empire Today.
It's At Home in the Valley, a warehouse full of rugs. Too many rugs, way too many rugs. It's time for a sale. Save on thousands of rugs in stock. Take one home today. Modern, traditional, shag, solids, and textures, all at low, low prices. Roll runners for stairs and hallways, any length you need. Since 1979, At Home in the Valley, 16531 Satakoy Street, Van Nuys, 818-780-4663, online at athomeinthevalley.com.
Looking to refresh the style in your home? Here at Mathis Home, we can help you find exactly what you need during our spring style event. Whether you're looking for rustic farmhouse, classic, or modern and eclectic, we have all the latest looks that will leave your home feeling brand new. Whatever your style, we know that we can help you find it at the lowest price. Because not only do we want you to feel good in your home, we know that to earn your business, our prices have to be the best. So come to the spring style event at your furniture superstore, Mathis Home.
It's your moment, your game, your place, your time to play. It's fun, it's exciting, and you're winning and winning and winning. Your moment is now at Morongo Casino Resort and Spa. Morongo, good times, great moments.
Special moments caught on camera for foster kids in Pasadena. More than 300 kids reunited with their siblings for a birthday surprise. It happened on Saturday at the Kidspace Children's Museum. The kids got to set sail on a pirate-themed adventure, including a treasure hunt, a disco, and a feast.
Pirate disco, awesome. All right. No surprise, it is really hard to find parking here in LA, and now the people have spoken. Here is a list of the top 3 worst places to find parking in LA, according to them. This competition run on Instagram by the Americana at Brand Memes. First on the list, Koreatown. Wasn't even included in the original bracket, but added after hundreds of wildcard submissions were put into place. Second, the Hollywood Bowl. Yes, very difficult. Yes. And third on the list, the Silver Lake Trader Joe's. If you know, you know.
If you know, you know for sure.
Right now at 5 a.m., a high-speed crash kills 5 people in Santa Ana. Some of the victims, just teenagers.
We are live with how the community is honoring their memory as the investigation continues.
People have seen their retirement savings on fire, and there he is out on the golf course.
Plus a financial free fall. Global stocks and U.S. futures plunge once again as more tariffs take effect. We're live this morning in Washington.
Plus, red, white, and Dodger blue. Our world champions are headed to the White House. What we know about the time-honored tradition.
Today in LA at 5 starts now.
Good morning. It's Monday, April 7th as we take this live look outside at Long Beach. Looking good on this Monday morning. Nice and calm and serene. Thanks for joining us. We hope you had a wonderful weekend. I'm Adrian Arambulo.
And I'm Lynette Romero. We're so glad you're here with us to start our week off. And David Bigger is here in for Belen. You're going to be here this week and part of next week, right?
Yes, that's exactly right.
So you could get some good sleep. Get in the
Exactly. I'll get into a regular sleep schedule.
Yes.
I'll also get through a little period of some hot temperatures and then back to really nice temperatures at least.
Look at you.
Let's start off with some nice temperatures, then we'll talk a little bit more about the heat. Here's what it looks like right now from our home here at Universal. This is Universal City. We are looking currently at a temperature of 55 degrees. We're about a degree warmer than at this point yesterday. For the most part, most spots pretty similar to yesterday with light winds across the area. And you can see the humidity here is only at about the 40% range. So obviously no fog expected around the San Fernando Valley. As we get into today and tomorrow, we will see some patchy fog by some of our coastal areas. I think the temperature is pretty level from what we had over the weekend, maybe a bit cooler in a few spots for today, but still not looking like we're going to change much getting into tomorrow. But getting into Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, we'll have some summer-like temperatures coming our way across the entire region. So for today and tomorrow, expect to have temperatures in about the mid to upper 60s by the coastline, mid 70s around the basin, low to mid 80s across our inland spots. We will also have that fog fog, as I mentioned. I'll have details on all of the forecasts coming up in a couple of minutes. But now let's get a first check of traffic with Robin Winston. It's been busy on at least in a few spots this morning.
Yes, that's true, especially the 60, David. Check this out, a live look from the scene of a fatal accident that we've been tracking since 2 a.m. This is the west side of the 60 at the Reservoir Suite Street exit. We have all lanes closed. This involves a driver that ran off the road up the embankment in the 2 o'clock hour. It is a fatality investigation. Traffic's being diverted off the freeway and the backup is growing. We're going to be dealing with this at least for another hour. That's your estimated time of clearing as they force all that traffic off at Ramona. So please keep that in mind if you're traveling through Chino this morning on the westbound side of the 60. Coming up, we'll talk about your alternate routes. We'll check your drive time. And there's another trouble spot on the 10. This is a rollover crash backing up traffic. That's no longer a great alternate for the 60. We'll talk about it coming up in our next check of traffic. Lynette, Adrian, back to you.
All right, Robin, thank you. Well, there is a growing memorial in Santa Ana right now for 5 people who were killed in a high-speed crash.
Now, some of the victims were just teenagers and siblings, all from the Santa Ana Unified School District. NBC4's Lauren Coronado is live in Santa Ana, where the investigation into the cause of the crash continues. And Lauren, detectives believe they have a decent idea of what happened, but they have to wait on some official results from some tests, right?
Adrian, that's exactly it. They're still investigating. They think they have a good idea of the cause of the crash, but of course there's still much more to the investigation. And this is just such a difficult loss. This is where the crash happened. You'll see the memorial, and it's going to be a tough day, no doubt, at school for students who return to class without their classmates. This is where all of those classmates, family, and friends, they gathered here to remember the 5 killed.
They were always there for you, no matter what. You can count on them. They're amazing, funny people, amazing humor.
Loved ones at a memorial tell us 5 of 6 people riding inside of the car involved in the crash died. Santa Ana police say several were teenagers who were students in the Santa Ana School District, and some are said to have been family members, siblings, cousins. This is the aftermath of the crash. It's tough to look at. It happened late Saturday night, just before 11:30 on Surgerstorm near Townsend. Police were out here for hours working to piece together what led up to the single car crash.
Our traffic unit believes that it's more than likely that alcohol and drugs played a factor in the incident. However, we know for certain that the vehicle appears to be traveling or been traveling at a high rate of speed, which caused the collision.
It's not clear who the driver was. We're working to gather that information. Back out here live as you see those glowing candles at that growing memorial. Students, they will return to class today. They can expect counselors available for those who are having a difficult time processing these losses. We'll bring you another live update in the next hour. Reporting live, I'm Lauren Coronado for Today in LA.
All right, Lauren, we will talk with you at 6. Well, at least 21 people were killed after a weekend of heavy rain and deadly flash flooding in parts of the South and also part of the Midwest. Some areas are already in recovery mode. Others are still bracing for more severe weather. Now, the storms produced strong wind, large hail, and even a few tornadoes. In central Indiana, as much as 10 inches of rain fell in some places, triggering dozens of swiftwater rescues.
By the time I got up out of bed this morning, it was already, I couldn't get back out of the park. So it's just, it comes up so fast from that river over there that you just, if you're not gone, you're stuck.
In Kentucky, a 9-year-old boy was swept away by floodwaters while walking to his school bus stop.
Well, Americans and U.S. markets are preparing for more tariff trouble after another round of levies went into effect over the weekend. The Treasury Secretary telling the NBC News that retirement-ready workers are not worried about day-to-day market fluctuations. Democrats are now slamming that response as people's 401ks plunge. The president is back in Washington today after protesters rallied from coast to coast against his policies. NBC's Alice Barr is live in Capitol Hill with details. Alice, good morning.
Good morning, Adrian. President Trump is standing firmly behind his tariff strategy, comparing the market's sell-off to the effects of taking a dose of medicine he believes will ultimately strengthen the economy.
This morning, markets bracing for what could be another wild week on Wall Street as investors grapple with President Trump's new tariffs.
What's going to happen with the market, I can't tell you, but I can tell you our country has gotten a lot stronger.
A minimum 10% tariff kicked in over the weekend against trading partners across the globe, set to rise even more on Wednesday for dozens of countries. The White House says more than 50 have now reached out about lowering trade barriers.
They're dying to make a deal, but I said, we're not going to have deficits with your country.
The Treasury Secretary pushing back against recession fears and added anxiety for Americans who want to retire, seeing their savings plunge.
I think they don't look at the day-to-day fluctuations of what's happening.
Democrats reject that, slamming the president's response.
People have seen their retirement savings on fire, and there he is out on the golf course.
Nationwide, hands-off protests over the weekend rallied against Trump administration policies, including the growing immigration crackdown, as the White House faces a deadline today to return a man wrongly deported to a notorious El Salvador prison. Kilmer Abrego Garcia, a husband and father with no criminal conviction, was granted legal status in the U.S. in 2019. A federal judge saying his detention appears wholly lawless. The Trump administration says he's affiliated with the MS-13 gang, though the Justice Department's own lawyer acknowledged the absence of evidence in court. Attorney General Pam Bondi now placing that lawyer on administrative leave.
And also today, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu is headed to the White House to talk tariff relief and the reignited war in Gaza, amid new criticism over the Israeli military's killing of 15 rescue workers and its now disputed account. Adrian?
Alice, thank you. And here is a live look at how stocks are trading right now ahead of the opening bell. Not a good start. You can see the markets, the futures markets, all down. Look at the Dow Jones right there, down more than 850 points right now, the futures market. And this indicates how investors are feeling before the opening bell. The Dow posting back-to-back losses of more than 1,500 points for the first time ever at the end of last week. So we will continue monitoring Wall Street for you and bring you updates throughout the morning.
5:07 right now. The visas of more than 36 international students at California universities have been revoked. This is all part of a sweeping crackdown by the Trump administration, and now UCLA is confirming that their students have been affected. The visas of 6 students at UCLA were revoked. The university also confirmed that 6 former students participating in the optional practical training program also had their visas terminated. In a statement, UCLA's Chancellor Julio Frank said, quote, "The termination notices indicate that all terminations were due to violations of the terms of the individual's visa program. So we recognize that these actions can bring feelings of tremendous uncertainty and anxiety to our community. We want our students, staff, and faculty to know we support your ability to work, learn, teach, and thrive here."
All right, 5:08 right now. Well, the Dodgers are celebrating their World Series win at the White House this morning. This is going to happen before the first of a 3-game series against the Washington Nationals tonight. The Dodgers will be honored at the White House for winning the 2024 World Series, a time-honored tradition that gets underway at 8 this morning.
You win a championship and you get to go to the White House, and you get it. You give the president a jersey with the number of which president he is, and then the president gives a speech, usually a little corny with some really bad puns and bad jokes. Right. And it's just a fun day when you can further celebrate your championship.
So the full team is expected to be there, minus Freddie Freeman. He is now on the injured list and is recovering. Stay with Today in LA as we continue our coverage of the Dodgers' visit to the White House at 6 a.m. NBC4's Olivia Garvey will join us live from Washington. She's got all the behind-the-scenes action. Again, that's at 6, and then at 8 a.m. we're going to stream live coverage of this event. Just check out our NBC Los Angeles news channel.
And as we go through today, we're looking at a pretty nice day across the entire region with temperatures running in the low to mid 80s across the high desert. We've got 81 degrees in Victorville, 82 degrees in Lancaster, low to mid 60s across the area mountains for today. For the Inland Empire, we have mostly sunny skies, just a few high clouds passing by from time to time, and temperatures in the low to mid 80s with 83 in Riverside, 82 degrees in Corona, and 82 degrees in Ontario. For Orange County, inland temperatures mid to upper 70s for today, mostly sunny. Close to the coastline, though, we'll likely have some patchy fog this afternoon and temperatures remaining in the 60s. 65 degrees in San Clemente and 66 degrees around Huntington Beach. For the San Fernando Valley, Santa Clarita Valley, we're looking at temperatures in the 80s for today. Mostly sunny skies, mostly sunny across much of Ventura County, but close to the coastline, we'll likely have some coastal fog for today. And across the basin in the San Gabriel Valley, temperatures mid to upper 70s with a few low 80s, like around West Covina, 80 degrees, 81 degrees in Pomona, 75 in Compton, 67 in Manhattan Beach, where the clouds may linger pretty close to the sand for today. I've got details on that fog chance as well as some warmer temperatures coming up in a few minutes. But now I'll send things back over to Robin Winston, who's keeping track of the conditions on the roads.
I am indeed. Thank you, David. And nothing has changed here. Our situation on the 60 continues to back up traffic this morning on the westbound side at Reservoir Street in Chino. It's a fatal accident investigation. You see all lanes are blocked. I've noticed that a tow truck has moved into position. There was a vehicle that ran off the road up the embankment here, which is on the shoulder. You can't see because it's really dark. I also noticed some folks putting down some absorbent on the right-hand side. So no one's getting through, and this is a trouble spot for those of you leaving the Chino area this morning. Your backup already spills beyond Euclid, so please plan ahead. Get out there as early as you can. They hope to have it cleared before 6. We'll keep you posted. That's the last update from CHP. You have surfer streets like Philadelphia, Walnut, Riverside Drive. All of those can be used as an alternate. Earlier, I suggested the 10 as an alternate, but it's no longer a good drive here because we have a rollover crash, West 10 at the 57 in Pomona. That's blocking the far left express lane, so it's starting to back you up out toward that Monte Vista exit, so it's no longer a good drive for the 10 either. 42 minutes Colton to Pomona, the 60, 57 minutes, so two big problems already slowing down traffic. The 210, I know it's out of the way, but you know, if you're a little bit closer to that, it's an option for you as well. 35 minutes, San Bernardino over to the 57. Plus, I have a crash in Lancaster left over from last night on the 14. We'll check in on that coming up in a bit. Lynette, back to you.
All right, Robin, thank you. Still ahead at 5, delivering for America. The Postal Service is changing how and when you get your mail. We'll explain.
And stay in LA. We've got the push to keep film and television productions and thousands of people's jobs here in Hollywood.
And complete chaos in LA's fashion district when a driver barrels into a crowd. 9 people were hurt. We'll hear from witnesses next on Today in LA.
Today, your world champion Dodgers visit the White House. NBC4's Olivia Garvey is live in D.C. with Mookie, Freddie, Kike, and Ohtani. Inside the World Series title celebration, the Dodgers visit the White House this morning at 6 a.m. on Today in L.A.
Morgan & Morgan lived up to what they say they're going to do. They got more than I expected.
They made sure that I got everything that I possibly could.
It didn't matter that it was just a small injury. They got more money than I would have ever expected.
Planet Oats so creamy and not watery like.
Exactly, and unsweetened has 0 grams of sugar. And don't forget, it's an excellent source of calcium.
Wow, Planet Oat really has it all. You guys are so right. No, you are. No, you are. No, you are. Yeah, you are.
This April at Saboba Casino Resort, money really does grow on trees when you play Roots of Wealth. Win your share of $436,000 in cash and prizes every Friday and Saturday. The grand prize drawing is April 26th, when you could drive home a brand new Cadillac CT5. Earn entries daily with your Saboba Rewards card. Roots of Wealth run deep every Friday and Saturday this April at Saboba Casino Resort.
Blind spot that's never out of sight. How it should be. The Hyundai Tucson.
Right now, get 3.99% APR for 72 months on the Hyundai Tucson. Visit your local Hyundai dealer today.
Hello, I'm Adrian Hernandez with MyHomeSold.com, and we want to buy your house cash. We save you money with no commissions, no fees, no repairs, for free, no obligation, as is cash offer. Go to MyHomeSold.com.
There's no segue there.
Next, Kelly, Amanda Peet, plus comedian Michelle Buteau.
What are you guys talking about? What are we doing?
Today at 2 on NBC4.
In LA's Fashion District, 9 people were hurt, including children, after a minivan crashed into a crowd near Santee Alley. It happened on Sunday afternoon along 12th Street. The LAPD tells us of the 9 victims, 7 were taken to the hospital. The youngest victim was an 8-year-old. A witness tells us it seemed the driver lost control of the minivan, barreling into a crowded outdoor dining patio.
Loss of control. Could have been worse.
The lady was honking the horn to some guys that are in the way, and they didn't get out of the way, so she stepped on the gas pedal and it got stuck.
Police are still looking into what led to the crash. All 9 victims are expected to be okay.
New changes at the USPS begin tomorrow. The cost-saving measures aim to save $36 billion over the next decade. This is part of a Delivering for America 10-year plan to modernize the postal network. The goal to achieve financial stability and improve the quality of service. The USPS says it is streamlining its networks, cutting work hours, and closing unnecessary facilities. Changes will affect first-class mail, marketing mail, package services, priority mail express, and even more. Now, depending on where you live, you could experience faster or slower delivery times.
Okay, so even lifelong travelers might not know how to pronounce the name of one international hotel chain. Last Friday, today's consumer reporter Vicky Nguyen mentioned that she'd been mispronouncing Marriott. And of course, this turned into a talker online, but a Marriott family member actually set things straight years ago.
A lot of people mispronounce our name. Well, I'm here to help. To say it right, it's Marriott like chariot, Marriott like lariat, Marriott like carrot.
Marriott. That's going to be really hard to break that habit. Okay, so you heard it straight from Debbie Marriott Harrison. It's Marriott, not Marriott. Who knew? Retired Philadelphia Eagles player and Marriott Bonvoy ambassador Jason Kelsey also learned the correct pronunciation back in January.
One question everyone wants to know, is it Marriott or Marriott?
Well, I have found out since embarking on this fan ambassador trip, it's Marriott.
He kind of tried to say it fast. Marriott. It's Marriott. It's not uncommon for mispronounced names to become the norm, but now there's no excuse for us. Apparently, we have to say Marriott.
No.
Marriott.
Never.
Marriott.
It's always going to be Marriott to me. I refuse.
Right?
It's too late. It's
Marriott.
too late, right?
Like, how do you change?
The lady said she did this years ago, and people are still
saying it
Marriott,
wrong.
So yeah.
Yeah.
It is what it is now.
Marriott.
Right.
Think of all the times you've called the hotel or called down to the front desk or something, and it's like, thank you for calling the Marriott. No.
I'm going to call them just to see if they're.
should.
I'm going to. Okay, well, you're doing better.
Okay,
I will call.
You got 2 minutes and 30
Okay,
seconds
go.
to do this here.
Ready,
All right,
set, go.
here's what we're looking at across the region for today. This is what we're looking at, Futurecast, 8 o'clock in the morning. Now, it keeps suggesting we might get a patch or two of fog over some parts of the basin, Orange County this morning. I've only seen a few areas of reduced visibility, but so far no fog formation just yet. But if we do get anything, it's not going to really last that long. By the time we get to about 8 o'clock in the morning, it's back to pretty much clear skies. However, if you look along the coastline, you'll see the fog lingers for today by the beaches, and that's going to be a feature over the next couple of days. Let me show you another example of this. Let's go from Monday into Tuesday. What you'll see is that the clouds start to push back in around the basin in Orange County. We've got the low clouds and fog setting up around downtown LA to Long Beach and into Irvine as well. But watch what happens as we go through the day. Retreats back to the coastline and then gets stuck at the coast. So once again, beaches looking at fog, inland spots just looking at some high cloud cover. As we go through the overnight hours and into Wednesday, once again, we get the low clouds and fog for parts of the basin in Orange County. And I have a feeling by the afternoon, this will be set up right along the beaches. And that is in the 7-day forecast. You'll notice it will have patchy fog listed for the coastline each of the next couple of days. But temperature wise for today, looks like a pretty nice day. We've got the low to mid 80s across the inland spots, so a little on the warm side. Mid 70s 70s around downtown LA, low 70s for Long Beach, mid 60s by the coastline. We have the 80s across the high desert. Here's a 7-day forecast. We've got the basin on top, the coastline down below. Here's what I'm talking about with the patchy fog for today, tomorrow, and for Wednesday. For the basin, we're just going to leave it as AM fog because we'll probably get a few patches here and there, maybe not necessarily today, but more so for tomorrow and Wednesday. And then it'll quickly retreat back to the coastline after we get past sunrise. As we get into Thursday, Friday, the possibility is still there as well, so we may extend the patchy fog here. But I want you to look at the temperatures. Temperatures will be at their warmest Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday before cooling off for the weekend. Our inland spots, valleys on top, i.e. forecast down below, pretty level for the next 2 days temperature-wise, low to mid 80s. Then as we get into Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, that's where in the mid to upper 80s with some low 90s mixed in, not just for the IE. I have a feeling a few spots around the valley locations will also get to the 90s. Think of like Woodland Hills, Northridge, Canoga Park, for example, while other spots will still be in the low to mid, or will still be in the mid to upper 80s. High desert on top, low desert forecast down below. Not a ton of change the next couple of days temperature-wise, but Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, we get up into the low 90s and low 100s for the low desert before cooling down by the weekend. And same for the area mountains. Next couple of days, we're in the mid 60s. As we get into Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, we're into the low 70s, and then we all cool off as we get into next weekend. For the mountains, that's back into the 60s. That's a look at your forecast. Now send things over to Robin Winston. How's it looking?
Not so good, David. Westbound 60 at Reservoir Street in Chino. We just saw a tow truck removing a vehicle involved in a fatal accident that happened in the 2 o'clock hour. So the tow truck just left the scene. It's really dark. I know it's hard to see, but Street Vision is showing you the closure here on the 6-day that we've been tracking for you. The investigation continues. Although they've cleared that vehicle, they are still investigating. They're still sweeping up. I saw them put some absorbent down. I saw someone pushing debris out of the road. You see several lanes are still shut down. So no one's getting through. All lanes are still blocked. Traffic's being diverted off the freeway at Ramona. Once again, this is a fatal accident investigation, West 60 at Reservoir Street. They were hoping for 6 a.m. We are getting closer, so it might happen. I'll keep you posted. But right now, the traffic's backed up beyond Euclid. So you have Philadelphia, Walnut, Riverside Drive. All of those can be used as alternate routes. The 10 will not be a great alternate route because there's a rollover crash in Pomona, West 10 at the 57. As that's being cleared from the left lane, you have little pockets of slow traffic coming out of Montclair. So that's going to be in your way as well. 36 minutes for the 10, 69 minutes for West 60. So both freeways are crowded. As you roll toward Lancaster, southbound 14 at Avenue B, there was a crash from last night involving a big rig that flipped over and damaged the guardrail that is still blocking this morning. So expect delays on the south side of the 14 as they work to get that big rig out of the way. I have more problems to talk about, including a problem on the 15. I'll have details coming up. Adrian, back to you.
Thank you, Robin. We'll still head paying to park. Home Depot addressing the rumor that your next trip to the store will cost you more.
And keeping Hollywood productions here, what workers in film and TV want the state to do. That's next on Today in LA.
If you've been hurt in an accident and you need results, call Sweet James. Here are just some of the recent wins for our injured clients. Call the firm that wins big. Call Sweet James.
I'm standing in a dream home that anyone can win, and it's being raffled off to benefit Special Olympics Southern California. This Mediterranean-style home features 5 bedrooms, 7 bathrooms, media space, and a music room. This place is designed with fun in mind. Outside, relaxation awaits, and the pool invites you to enjoy the California sun. Get your tickets now for the Dream Big raffle by calling 800-816-6108.
Thanks for sharing. Who's next?
I feel I don't really understand when it's appropriate to hit reply or reply all.
We've all been there.
I stay awake at night worrying that my security service isn't cutting it. I feel so vulnerable.
I couldn't help overhearing your security insecurity. Bailarm is your all-in-one partner for security and life safety. And with best-in-class technology and local service, you can rest easy knowing everything is secure.
I can finally sleep
like a baby.
Which automaker employs the most hourly workers in the country? Ford. Which automaker assembles the most vehicles in the country? Ford. That's not a coincidence. It's a commitment. A commitment Ford dealers share by offering employee pricing across a full lineup of Ford vehicles.
Now get employee pricing available across a full lineup of Ford trucks and SUVs. Employee pricing, you pay what we pay. Only from your local Ford dealer.
Welcome to Bob's. I see you found our Everest Motion sofa, power reclining seats and headrests, USB ports. They okay?
Oh, we just got back from another furniture store, and the sales guy was so pushy, they got super freaked out.
Yikes. We don't do that here.
That's why we're here, right, guys? They'll snap out of it eventually.
When you can shop hassle and haggle-free, there's only one thing to say. Oh, my Bob!
Play at the beach. Play with friends. Play at a bar under the sun. And a lazy river. Come play at SoCal's favorite Oasis Beach Pool and Lazy River. Only at Morongo. Good times.
I slipped and fell on grease. I contacted Morgan & Morgan. It didn't cost me anything. That's what they told me up front. We'll handle your case. We'll take care of everything. We win, you win. Their efficiency is incredible, and they're just doggone nice.
TV and film crews are rallying in support of restoring lost production jobs in LA. Hundreds of workers, union leaders, and small business owners gathered yesterday in Sun Valley to protest. They are calling on the state to more than double the California production tax incentive to help keep productions from leaving.
Right now, there's no work in Hollywood. Work has been leaving town for the past year and a half. We thought it was going to pick up, and it hasn't.
Work is dying off fast, and working mainly in commercials, our area never seems to be covered by the taxes. So I'm really hoping that Sacramento, when they do divvy out the tax incentives, include commercials along with television and film.
Governor Gavin Newsom originally proposed raising the incentive from $330 million to $750 million back in October.
Home Depot is responding to rumors that it would start charging customers for parking. Online product outlet Pro Tool Reviews said last week that a full day of parking would cost $5 here in LA, and it had people on the internet fired up, with some readers refusing to shop at the chain. But the post was just part of an elaborate April Fool's Day prank, and that cited a fictional press release from a non-existent Home Depot spokesperson, so I'm not sure if they're happy about that. But the company actually has spring Black Friday deals right now, and those run through April 16th. So yeah, the timing of all that, not the best with what we're going through. You don't want to mess with people's money right now.
Yeah, right?
So.
Yeah.
All right, 5:27 right now. Well, we are watching Wall Street for you this morning. The U.S. market's set to open in just about an hour.
We're going to take a closer look at other past declines for a little more context on what's happening right now. That's ahead at 5:30.
And a man being questioned in the disappearance and death of a 13-year-old boy from Sun Valley will be in court here in downtown LA today. Is scheduled to be in court on an unrelated case. We have the very latest on the investigation and how the coach and the teen knew each other.
Traffic is brought to you locally by Jacoby & Myers Injury Lawyers, because you deserve justice.
Every day, over 1,000 accidents happen in California. Lives turned upside down in an instant. The aftermath of an accident can be overwhelming. Medical bills, lost wages, and emotional trauma. At Jacoby & Myers, we control the chaos, providing legal and emotional support so you can focus on healing. With over 50 years of experience and $2 billion recovered for our clients, we fight for the justice you deserve.